Pocket.
Now, here are your hosts, Brock Eward and Mike Salk.
All right, hello. Good morning, everybody. Brock and Salk Show, Seattle Sports 710, seattlesports.com, the old Seattle Sports app, of course, and then the podcast platforms, and let's add 97.3 HD2. Let's add YouTube to that if you like to watch the show. I'm watching myself right now. Here I am looking at myself on TV. It's amazing. I mean, not really, because I have to see myself. But other than that, it's great. In fact, you guys would be amazed. If you were to sit where I am right now, you would see me on 3 different screens all at once. 2 of the screens are shaded differently than the other, so I'm like 2 different colors. So I have to kind of look at myself and kind of figure out which one looks best. I think the big one in the middle is the better color, and it's bigger. So that's sort of like the upside and the downside all together. Anyway, you can watch on YouTube. Jeff Passan said he was going to come on today on video. So hopefully we'll get a chance to video with Jeff at 8:30 this morning. I think it's time to be clear about something. I think it's time to say it. It's not early anymore. I think it's time. It's May. Yeah, it's May 20th. This Friday is Memorial Day weekend. I mean, I guess if you want, you could wait a week, but I don't think you need to. It's not early. We're into the season. We're essentially, I mean, Memorial Day is a normal kind of 2 months in way of analyzing it. But I think you could certainly say that with the season starting a couple days early into March, it's not early anymore. Like, we got a pretty good sense of who's who. Not exactly. Some teams will get better. Some teams will get worse. I mean, we know that last year the Mariners had, a 10-game lead in June that they managed to squander. So, things change. Just saying that it's not early anymore doesn't mean that these standings today are going to be the final standings at the end of September. But it's not early. I think we're starting to know who the Mariners are. It's not fluky. It's not, fake. It's not one little hot streak. We're 2 months in. We're more than a quarter of the way through the season. We're getting close to a third of the way through here. I think we know who they are, roughly. Now, it doesn't mean it's not going to change and come up and down. Obviously, the team they are this week is a little different from the one they were last week. Last week, they couldn't do anything right, and this week, they're doing everything right. So that will change. That'll go up and down over the course of a long baseball season. But I'm certainly not going to point at this anymore and say, hey, it's just early. It could all, go kaput tomorrow, and this is just a little fluky. I'm not going to say that at all. It's not early. We're into the season. Dave,
and this team has been tested, right? With all the injuries and everything, and sustaining through that.
Done all those things.
It's not like you could say, well, they've done really well, but what about when adversity hits?
Adversity is hit, right? I mean, the better question for this team is, can they handle being healthy? Can they handle not having adversity? Can they handle everything just being normal? I think at this point, it's pretty safe to say it's no longer early. David Schoenfeld was on with Bump and Stacy yesterday.
Front office people say, really right now, that quarter point of the year, we're kind of just a few games past that. That kind of gives you a read on, your health, your weaknesses, what you're going to start looking for at the trade deadline. I mean, look, that first 10 days of the year, it looked like it was going to be a long season, right, when they weren't hitting it all. That's why you got to give it some time, but we're at that point. So to me, the key for Seattle, obviously, is that rotation going to get healthy? What are we going to get from George Kirby and Logan Gilbert when they get back? Are they going to be okay the rest of the year? Bryce Miller, same thing.
Well, we're getting pretty close to finding out the answer to that question, right? I mean, Logan was on the broadcast yesterday, taking shrapnel from sunflower seeds all over. George Kirby seems like he's going to be ready to go maybe as soon as, this week. A little curious to see what the weather looks like tonight in Chicago. They may get rained out tonight. I assume that means they'll play a doubleheader tomorrow, but maybe not. Maybe, I don't know. No, they'll probably just play a doubleheader tomorrow because they got a getaway early morning game. Yeah, they'll probably play a doubleheader. But I was just kind of thinking through it, how nice would it be if you could skip this game, come back to it later, have an extra White Sox game later in the season when you could really use one, and, not have to throw a Jonathan Diaz or somebody else like that tonight. So we'll see. It does sound like it's going to be an awful day of weather in Chicago, so maybe they'll end up with a rain out today. But, it's not early. This is the Mariners. The good and bad. Right now, it's a whole lot more good than bad. 27-19. They were 46 games into this. Not quite the third mark. You got to get like another week, basically, before you're at a third of the season. And I guess if they were to, lose their next 7 straight or something, I'd sit there and go, ooh, I guess maybe we got a little ahead of ourselves. But I don't see that happening. They're a pretty good team. They really are. They're very resilient, as we said yesterday. They are relentless. They keep coming at you in waves. I mean, yesterday's a good example. They're kind of not doing much. Who was that guy? That Davis Martin? Is he somebody I'm supposed to know about? He looked pretty good. Is that someone I'm supposed to know, Lyle? Davis Martin?
No.
Okay.
He's had a good start to the year. But
Man, he looked pretty darn good yesterday. I was impressed with him. Pitches into the 8th inning, only allowed a run. And the run he allowed was on a whole bunch of super soft contact, right? Another swinging bunt and little dink into left field. He only allowed 1 solid hit when he gave up the run. He comes out, and obviously the other guy gives up the grand slam to Julio. But that would sort of, again, almost felt inevitable. I don't know. Maybe I feel that word I've been overusing it the last day or so, but kind of felt that way. Like, did you ever think the Mariners were going to lose that game as you were watching it yesterday? I didn't. There was no part of me at any point during that game, even though Davis Martin was pitching pretty well, that felt like the Mariners were going to lose. Their defense was on point. Julio eventually came up with the big blow. And in the meantime, they're pitching and the hitting was just kind of wearing them down. Eventually, they were going to break through. You just knew it was going to happen. Yeah, they've been really, really good on the road, too. I got a text saying, hey, the Mariners have the best record on the road in the league. Yeah, Julio talked about why that is.
I mean, I don't know. I just feel like we treat every single game the same, but obviously when you're on the road, you're like the bad guys. Nobody likes you. So I guess that adds a little bit more to us, and, we stick together pretty well as a team, and I think that might play something into it.
They like playing the bad guy. They like being the enemy. Okay. Hey, whatever personality you take on, as long as you guys get into it, cool. Sounds good. I like that. 815 says, reporting live from Chicago. Weather not looking good tomorrow either. Good. Honestly, wouldn't that be perfect?
no, I want to see roofs built on every stadium.
Well, okay, fine. But at the moment, wouldn't it be good for the Mariners? Getting rained out, couple games. Now you don't have to pitch your, whoever it is who's going to go in place of George Kirby. You can probably now end the Bryce Miller problem essentially goes away. You don't have to dig into whoever your 8th pitcher is. You can stick with 7. You got 7 pitchers on this team, right? Your original starting 5 plus Logan Evans and Emerson Hancock. Those are your 7. You don't really have an 8th. Jonathan Diaz, Casey Lawrence, you got 7. A rainout or 2 kind of means you get to stay with 7, which is really where you want to be. Now, the flip side of it is you don't get a chance to continue to play this absolutely horrendous White Sox team. I got some White Sox stuff for later, but can I ask a White Sox question? Maybe this is rude. Maybe I shouldn't ask this, and I'll feel bad later. Does Chicago need 2 baseball teams? Do they need the White Sox? And I'm not looking to rip teams away from fans or anything like that. I know that's hard for everybody, and certainly people in Seattle can relate. But does Chicago need 2 baseball teams? There aren't that many White Sox fans there to begin with. None of them are going to the games. They've got the lowest payroll in baseball. Do you realize you know how much money the White Sox spend on their payroll? $43 million. That is roughly, almost exactly, 1/6 the payroll of the New York Mets. The Mets are outspending them by 6 times on the active payroll. That's an average. An average. Their average payout to a player is $1.7 million a year. And if you take away the Lewis Robert contract that they can't wait to get out of, it goes down to just over $1 million per player, $1.1 million per player. He's 15 of the 43. Without him, it's a $28 million payroll for 25 guys. Think about that.
Yeah, I feel like we're not that far away from seeing what happened to the White Sox happen to the A's, where the Players Association files a grievance and they're forced to spend.
What is this? And they're not. And by the way, the players they have aren't particularly good. It's not like they're just all young and hot prospects and stuff. They're not good. They got a couple of pitchers, but that lineup is an atrocity. Awful. There's nobody at the ballpark. Does Chicago need to? I did a little research on Chicago. Does it actually need 2 teams? Would the league be better if the White Sox went somewhere else?
Well, does Southern California need 2 baseball teams?
Yes. Just in terms of population, yes. LA is gigantic. Add in Orange County. Yes, absolutely. Chicago, there's only like 7.5 million people in the Chicago market. Not that that's small. It's still third behind New York and LA, but it's roughly half of the New York market. Like, do you really need another team there? What percentage of Chicagoans do you think are White Sox fans versus Cubs? You think it's 2/3 to 1/3? Is that a fair guess? Just for the sake of conversation, I think that's fair.
Sure, I was even going to say a little less than that.
It might be, but just for the sake of conversation, let's say it's 2/3 versus 1/3. That leaves about 2.5 million people available as White Sox fans. That's like the size of Portland, Vancouver. Montreal, by the way, has 4.3 million people. Where would you rather see a team? A second team in Chicago doing nothing, or in Montreal? To me, that'd be like a no-brainer. Yeah, this is sort of a joke. Anyway, it doesn't matter. Mariners should continue to just destroy this team. Maybe you'll get rained out the next 2 days. If you don't, great, you get to play a bad team. If you do, great, you get to get your top 7 pitchers going instead of having to dig into an 8th. Great spot to be in. We'll come back with everything you need. Oh, would you like to see here the Julio home run? He hit a grand slam. I'll play it for you next. I'm Brock and Salk.
Bump and Stacy.
Jason Churchill joining us now. Might we be staring at a potential gap where you're still waiting on production from your pitchers and the offense has come back down to earth?
If I would have told you after about 40 games, hey, the Mariners are going to be in first place, George Kirby will have not pitched, and the thing that's led them to this record would be the lineup, the offense, the run scoring, I think every single fan would have been like, okay, yeah, I'll take that.
Bump and Stacy. Weekdays 10 to 2 on Seattle Sports, the app, YouTube, and your smart speaker.
Safety comes first. When money is tight, don't neglect maintenance on your vehicle. Keep it safe. At Bucky's Complete Auto, we have you covered with available financing. For over 50 years, Bucky's Complete Auto has been servicing and repairing cars and trucks with modern-day technology and good old-fashioned customer service. There's a Bucky's just about everywhere for oil changes, wiper blades, brakes, tire rotation, tune-ups, and factory maintenance. No appointment necessary and financing's available. Check Bucky's.com for the location near you.
Now more than ever, Lowe's knows you don't just want a low price, you want the lowest price. And with our lowest price guarantee, you can count on us for competitive prices on all your home improvement projects. If you find a qualifying lower price somewhere else on the same item, we'll match it. Lowe's, we help, you save. Price match applies the same item, current price at qualifying retailers. Exclusions and terms apply. Learn how we'll match price at Lowes.com/lowest price guarantee.
Did you know your skin is the largest organ of your body? Huh? That's why you should shower with Old Spice Super Hydration Body Wash instead of plain old bar soap. Love your skin by super hydrating it with vitamin B3 and glorious notes of vanilla and shea. Did you know that my super hydrated skin is the second largest organ of my body? The first is my heart. Old Spice. Men have skin too. Old Spice Super Hydration Body Wash. 24/7 renewing moisture. With daily use.
Hey, Green Gobbler here. So you've got a clogged drain in your bathroom. Water in the sink's overstaying its welcome. You're spitting today's toothpaste on top of yesterday's toothpaste. You hope that it go away. Yeah, clogs don't just go away. I make them go away. I'm Green Gobbler, the only clog dissolver you need. I'm bleach-free, safe for your pipes, and I work. Guaranteed or your money back. Because I never met a clog that was gonna unclog itself. Green Gobbler. Let the gobbler get it.
This is the story of the one. As a safety manager at a manufacturing plant, he does everything he can to keep his coworkers safe. From finding ways to reduce risks to keeping safety supplies in stock. And for that, he relies on Grainger. Grainger offers a broad range of quality products and next-day delivery, so he can always play it safe. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Texting enrolls you into recurring automated text messages. Consent not required to purchase. Message and data rates may apply.
Hey, Dan, how you doing? Haven't seen you around the gym for a while.
Yeah, I've really fallen off. Since I turned 40, I just don't get the results I used to get.
Could be lower testosterone.
Lower T?
Yeah, I went through it a while back. Once you hit 40, your body has less free testosterone. I got Nugenix Total T, and it's made a huge difference for me.
I've seen that ad on TV. Is it for real?
Oh, yeah. The key ingredient is something called Tesnor, which helps boost free and total testosterone levels to help you trim up and stay lean.
And it's made a difference for you?
Man, I feel like I'm in my 20s again. At work, in the gym, and in the bedroom.
Are they still giving out complimentary bottles for people to try it for themselves?
Yeah, you just need to send them a text.
Text BODY to 321-321 right now for your complimentary bottle of Nugenix Total T, the #1 selling testosterone booster at GNC. Plus, text now and we'll include a bottle of Nugenix Thermo, our most powerful fat incinerator ever, to help you get back into shape fast. Absolutely free. Text BODY to 321-321. That's BODY to 321-321.
Get rid of stubborn fat and address areas of loose skin with ProSculpt, the simple one-day permanent fat reduction and skin tightening treatment. Book your free consultation at prosculpt.com.
Washington is leading the way in car theft reduction. Car thefts dropped by 32% from 2023 to 2024 in our state, but there's still work to be done. Help keep your car safe with these simple and important tips. Don't leave your car running unattended. Park in well-lit areas. Lock up every time. Keep valuables out of sight. Use an anti-theft device like a steering wheel lock. Prevent the theft and keep you and your vehicle safe. These tips are brought to you by the Washington Auto Theft Prevention Authority.
Have you considered surgery or even joint replacement? Hey, it's Dave Wyman, and before you make that decision, see Dr. Mark Wagner, MD, at Seattle Sports and Regenerative Medicine. Why? Because he gives it to you straight. Dr. Wagner said my right knee needs replacement, and I appreciate his honesty and expertise. My left knee is fine right now, but the minute it isn't, I'm heading to Dr. Wagner for his expert opinion. I want to avoid another surgery, and I've heard so many patients rave about results from their 90-minute outpatient stem cell procedure with Dr. Wagner. He's a board-certified Seattle physician with over 30 years of experience and has performed more than 20,000 stem cell procedures using a person's own stem cells to regenerate cartilage in their own joints. People with severe osteoarthritis, even bone on bone, are back doing what they enjoy without pain and without surgery. Whether it's a shoulder, hip, elbow, ankle, wrist, or knee, before choosing surgery, see Dr. Mark Wagner first. Go to drmarkwagnermd.com.
Need a break from everything? Escape to a place where anything is possible and the fun never stops. At Silver Reef Casino Resort, you'll discover world-class dining, championship caliber golf, and so much more. Come join the fun and see why we've been consistently rated one of the region's top destinations. Visit silverreefcasino.com to book your stay and discover all the exciting events and promotions we have in store for you. Silver Reef Casino Resort, located off I-5, exit 260.
Find out more at silverreefcasino.com. This hour is brought to you by Community Transit.
Need to know.
15 minutes past every hour with Brock and Salk.
Here's what you need to know. Up first.
Well, those road warrior Mariners, they just keep rolling right along. Chicago, not much of a test yesterday. They were not good. Luis Castillo turned in what I would say was almost a vintage performance. 7 shutout innings, hardly in trouble, 3 hits, no walks, 5 strikeouts, nasty fastball.
Here's the 0-2. Swung on him, nasty, blows it by him. 96 letter high, he swings through. That's the 5th strikeout for Castillo. He's retired 9 in a row.
Yeah, he was kind of doing that all day. Lots of movement. Now, Lyle, did you think that was a 2-seamer or 4-seamer that he was throwing with that much movement? I don't know how you could tell.
I mean, when you're watching the broadcast, you have to assume it's a 2-seamer because that's what it looks like, but it wasn't.
It was a 4-seamer.
Yeah.
But it was moving like a 2-seamer.
Right.
I don't know what the heck. Maybe it's a 3-seamer. It's somewhere in between. He's found a mythical 3rd seam. I don't know what it was.
Any possibility somebody picked it up wrong on the, on the tracker or whatever, on the trajectory?
I mean, it depends who you ask. They were saying 4-seamer on the broadcast.
Right.
But Pitching Ninja was calling it a 2-seamer.
Yeah.
I don't know how you know. I mean, it was 4-seamer speed, but 2-seamer movement. Whatever it was freaking nasty.
He's done that a lot in his career. He's a veteran. He's been around. He knows what he's doing. And I thought he just, the game plan he and Cal had was very good. The stuff that he had tonight was very good. And when you're ahead in the count, I thought his pitch count, he was able to keep that in check. That, he got some early swings and some of the at-bats to keep the pitch count down, and that allowed him to get deeper in the game. So just a great, veteran effort all around, and a great game plan from the beginning.
Whatever, all of that may be true, but that fastball was absurd yesterday, and that essentially accounted for the pitching. The offense, quiet, honestly. Davis Martin shut them down into the 8th, but then Julio took advantage.
And with a sign, delivers, swing, and a well-hit ball deep to left field. Slater going back, and this one is gone. Goodbye, baseball. Grandma, get out the rye bread and mustard. It is grand salami time. Julio Rodriguez with a grand slam, his 8th home run of the season.
Yeah, that was enough. 5-1, the only real blemish. Troy Taylor didn't pitch well, so Munoz had to come in and lock it down. Maybe they'll benefit from a couple of off days here, as the weather does not look good in Chicago. So using Munoz may not have been nearly the problem that it felt like last night.
Here's the second thing you need to know.
We got Seahawks preseason dates and times. Those were announced yesterday. Week 1, as we know, against the Raiders, as Pete told us. That'll be a Thursday night game, 7 o'clock, August 7th. Week 2 at home against Kansas City. That's a Friday night game, also at 7 o'clock, August 15th. And then one more. This will be sort of more of a normal Saturday, 1 o'clock. That's at Green Bay in Week 3 on August 23rd. NFL meetings going on now. Going to revisit a few of the rules that they debated back at the last owners' meetings. Packers still trying to ban the tush push, and now they're hoping to just go back to essentially the old language. Here's where Dan Graziano and Mike Greenberg are.
They decided in March to table the discussion about banning the tush push as a proposal that would ban this play. A lot of the people that held out didn't want to vote on it, wanted it reworded. It's possible they could vote to make this an illegal play.
And what they'd be voting against basically is it be illegal to push a ball carrier, which forever used to be the rule.
Used to be illegal, then they made it legal. Now it would essentially be illegal again, and I'm sure that's the way this will go down. Detroit wants to seed based on record. Whatever. I don't really care about either of these two things, to be honest with you. I do like the idea of moving the kickoff team up a yard closer on onside kicks in order to give them a better chance to get the ball, because 7% was too low. I'd like to see that number come up. But maybe the biggest news of this week is it seems like there's a sense NFL players are going to be allowed to compete in flag football in the 2020, 28 Olympics? That sounds fun. Would you like to see NFL players playing flag football? I kind of would. I don't know what the rest of the world is going to look like in terms of competition, but yeah, I'd be down to watch that. That athleticism without tackling, just maneuvering around. Yeah, that sounds pretty cool, and gives, some of the best athletes in the United States an actual opportunity to compete for their country, something they otherwise would never have the opportunity to do. Yeah, I'm into it.
Here's the third thing you need to know.
Storm, even up their record at 1-1, beat Dallas by 8 last night. NHL playoffs back tonight. Game 1 of the Eastern Conference Finals. Carolina hosting Florida. Look at Dallas, Edmonton tomorrow. Look, I read a lot about the future in Toronto, okay? Where they could finally break up that team and their core four, and maybe that's the opportunity to get one of their star players here. The best chance to land a star would probably be 28-year-old Mitch Marner. I'm just kind of looking through it. Austin Matthews isn't going anywhere. I don't think William Nylander's going anywhere. Those two are going to stay. John Tavares is old, and so I don't see any reason why he would come across the country. And I don't think that he's necessarily a good fit for a team like the Kraken anyway. So really, this is a conversation about Mitch Marner. Going to be an unrestricted free agent on July 1st. Wants like $14 million a year. I read, 10 different lists of teams that Marner could go to. I did not see the Kraken's name once. Not once. Ugh. Maybe they're only looking at teams with coaches. I don't know. It's hard to say. That's everything you need to know. 15:15 every hour here on the Brock and Salk Show. Yeah, I'd take Mitch Marner. I know he didn't come off a great playoffs, but that's a 100-point-a-season guy. 25 to 35 goals, 75 to 85 assists every year. He's only 28. Yeah, where do I sign up for that? I'll give him $14 million a year. Sure. He'd change the complexion of this team, tell you that much, and maybe getting him out of the pressure cooker in Toronto. He's from there. He's a Toronto native. 4th overall pick who had the weight of that on his shoulders. That's tough. Now, I know he didn't have to be the guy there because that's Austin Matthews, but still, I don't know. It sure seems like it'd be an opportunity at least to get a real star, somebody who changes the game, which I would really like to see the Kraken get. Not going to happen in all likelihood, but a guy can hope. All right. Oh, you know what I should tell you guys? Brock and I will talk more about it. Wednesday, tomorrow, Mike McDonald's going to be on the show. I haven't even told you guys that yet. Mike McDonald's going to be on the show tomorrow. I know. Shame on me, Maura. Shame on me. Shame. Yeah, we said last week after we talked to Pete Carroll, that was great, but we got to talk to our guy. We got to talk to Mike McDonald. So 9:30 tomorrow, we're going to talk to Coach Mike. Looking forward to that. Jeff Passan this morning at 8:30. Angie Mentink next.
Bump and Stacy.
Jason Churchill joining us now. Might we be staring at a potential gap where you're still waiting on production from your pitchers and the offense has come back down to earth?
If I would have told you after about 40 games that the Mariners are going to be in first place, George Kirby will have not pitched, and the thing that's led them to this record would be the lineup, the offense, the run scoring, I think every single fan would have been like, hey, yeah, I'll take that.
Bump and Stacy. Weekdays 10 to 2 on Seattle Sports, the app, YouTube, and your smart speaker.
Hey, Mike, Salk here. Let's talk about Crawl Pros. This is a time of year, right? With all of the rain that we've been getting, it's all got to go somewhere. And if it gets into your crawl space, now you got yourself a big problem, right? All that rain, groundwater gets in, and then you could have structural damage. You could have toxic mold. You don't want any part of any of that, right? That gets super pricey. So get Crawl Pros out there early. Have them check out your crawl space, install a sump pump and drainage. They can reroute that water back out and away from your home. Now, if it's already become a problem, they can take care of that too. They can take care of mold that's been created. They can even address plumbing issues you might have in your crawl space. They can do it all. But it all starts with a call to Crawl Pros. Just have them come out and do a free corner-to-corner inspection. They'll just see if there's any problem. And then they'll talk to you. They'll give you a bound book with the pictures of all the different issues. And if you want to take care of it, you do. They'll do it for you. If you're worried about water damage, mold, insulation issues, critters, anything else related to your crawl space or attic, call Crawl Pros or visit crawlpros.com to schedule that free inspection. That's crawlpros.com.
I saw her texting coming up to a stop sign, and so I saw the accident coming, and she T-boned us.
In the blink of an eye, Crystal's life changed when she suffered a severe spinal injury.
The pain was something I had never experienced before in my neck. I got massage therapy. I saw a chiropractor. I was prescribed muscle relaxers so I could sleep. I got depressed. Nothing was relieving the pain.
Drugs, sleepless nights, and depression. Sound familiar? I'm Dr. Mark Shelley, a chiropractic physician and board-certified functional neurologist. At Sound Pain Solutions, our treatments include high-dose laser combined with spinal decompression and other comprehensive therapies to rehabilitate damaged discs. We use treatments that are non-surgical, FDA-cleared, drug and pain-free.
I was able to get off my pain medicines, and I was able to sleep through the night, and that was what I was desperate for.
To learn if you're a candidate for our treatment, call us. Sound Pain Solutions, 855-996-0025, or click soundpainsolutions.com.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, let's talk ED, because millions of men experience it, but not everyone can access or afford treatments like Viagra. Well, Hims can help. Through Hims.com, you can get a full range of treatment options for ED, including daily or as-needed meds, through a 100% online process. It all starts with an online intake form. Get started at hims.com/joy, and from there, a medical provider licensed in your state will determine if ED treatment is right for you. If prescribed, your medication is shipped to you for free. Find the ED treatment that fits your needs, with options up to 95% less than the brand names. Millions of men experience ED. But Hims can help. To start your free online visit and save up to 95%, go to hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy for your free online visit. HIMS.com/JOY.
You've heard the saying, you never get a second chance to make a first impression. Since 1926, my family's been helping local businesses make great first, second, and long-term impressions. We know how to make your company look good with quality uniforms, logoed apparel, floor mats, linens, and more. If you're paying for linen service or doing it yourself, let's have the conversation. The information and quote are free, but the savings and service can really add up. Visit suplinen.com. Superior Linen Service. It's what we do.
Subscribe to the Seattle Sports YouTube page to find new and exclusive content from your favorite shows and personalities daily. Just head to YouTube, search Seattle Sports, and click subscribe.
Want to get rid of clutter and reclaim your space? John here with Happy Hauler, Seattle's eco-friendly junk removal. We're a family-run small business that provides junk removal, donations, and recycling for the greater Seattle area. At Happy Hauler, we pride ourselves on responsibility, community, and sustainability. We prioritize donating and recycling, so we'll look for opportunities to do just that instead of going to the landfill. Make yourself, your community, and the planet happy. Reclaim your space. HappyHauler.com, hauling with a heart.
When the heat's an 11.
Cool AC would be heaven.
Dayandnight.net.
Beat the rush.
Act now before summer.
Because that heat's a real bummer.
Dayandnight.net.
Even though our Northwest summers can be spectacular, there's always a long, hot stretch that makes everyone say, man, AC sure would be nice. Well, except for that one annoying friend who won't stop talking about how great his AC is. Hi, I'm Bruce with Day and Night Plumbing and Heating. You can stay comfortably cool when those hot temps arrive. This is the time to plan ahead and call us about installing a high-efficiency AC or heat pump. Or if you have an existing system, we'll come and service it. Make sure it's running efficiently and ready to cool when you need it.
Before the summer heat wave. Keep your house cool and safe.
Dayandnight.net. Make sure your AC will keep you cool this summer. Save $50 on a pre-summer AC tune-up. Or for a new system, save up to $6,000 on qualifying cooling equipment. Dayandnight.net.
Does your building company have a strong website? One with a solid organic search presence, engaging prospects, and filling your pipeline? You know, a site that speaks loud about your company. I'm Rusty George. My local agency specializes in creating websites and marketing strategies for building companies, including construction, manufacturing, and material suppliers. We develop strategies and tactics to attract and win more quality business. See how we can help your business get louder at rustygeorge.com. That's rustygeorge.com.
Brock and Salk's Rewind is presented by Toyota of Kirkland and Toyota of Renton.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio.
This is Brock and Salk.
Weekdays 6 to 10.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
Let's see. We're going to talk to Angie Mentink here in just a moment. 509 says, thanks, Salk. I just realized I was Joffrey in middle school. Well, yeah. Then you probably have some apologies to make.
And you know what
rest
else
of that package.
You know what I was fortunate of?
Yeah.
That Angie Mentink was not in my junior high.
Yeah, she would have beaten you.
If she was on that team,
she would have crushed you.
She was a tough cookie.
Well, she's joining us right now. The great Angie Mentink
Still
of Root Sports.
cookie.
Angie, good morning. How are you?
Good morning. Wait a minute. I got in late. Was I violently attacking?
No,
somebody?
I was telling well, we were talking about people who played their character so well that you hate them forever. And I don't know if you're a Game of Thrones person. I imagine you are because everybody is.
Yes.
I mean, Joffrey, you could never watch that kid in anything ever again, right?
I think he stopped acting, didn't he?
He did,
Yeah.
because he's such a... And I said the reason he's so awful is that everybody knew a Joffrey in their middle school. And then I suggested that maybe Brock had that kind of same look and that maybe Brock was sort of like, the Joffrey of his middle school.
Just to the girls.
Over there at Ezra Meeker.
Only to the girls. The girls hated me. Because Angie, 1-on-5, I beat them. I just said I could beat your whole 7th grade girls team by myself, Doris Bender. And then I went on to compliment you and say, if Angie had been on that team, there's no way I'm winning. Because she'd have undercut me. She'd have elbowed me in the ribs.
Yeah, not true, though. I'm actually a horrible basketball player. We try not to let the kids even see me.
Oh, wow.
Shoot. I'm really good defender. I'm a really good defender. But yeah, I got that squatty body, get down low, good defender. But yes, it's terrible.
I can relate to that.
It's absolutely terrible. And I have 2 good basketball playing boys too. So
what else did you play besides baseball? What else did you play?
I played tennis in high school. I played volleyball in high school, and I was the first female to letter in football at my high school.
How about that?
Yeah,
Running
and
back?
softball, obviously. I was a linebacker, outside linebacker, and a wingback on offense.
I could see that, and I bet you were nasty too. Like, people got to know what kind of athlete Angie is. I don't always tell the story, but I've mentioned this before because I know. Look, Angie, you're killing it in the new gig, and we want to talk all about it. And obviously, we're here to talk about the Mariners. But a few years ago, we all took batting practice. The whole media was invited out to take BP at T-Mobile, and everyone's, embarrassing themselves in various ways and trying to relive their glory, try not to get hurt. And Angie was wearing, I don't remember the shoes, but they were either flip-flops or heels. They were not the right shoes. And she was I'm not going to participate. No, I don't need to do them. No, I'm good. You guys do it. I get to hit all the time. Well, she finally gets guilted into taking a few swings and just starts lacing line drives all over the ballpark. It was a show. And she's wearing shoes that no one should be wearing to play baseball in, and it doesn't matter because she's still that nasty.
You're so They were high heel boots, I think. Yes. Yes. Oh, that's funny. Yes. Well, it's fading fast. It's fading fast. I gotta lean on the hubs to like keep the old glory, and the stories, alive. So, yeah, it's. You're making me turn red.
Oh, well, I watched it with my own eyes. After I had swung
really
and
hard
missed
to do.
however many times, I'm like, she's look at Angie. She is just destroyed. I'm like hitting to all fields. She's like, oh, outside pitch. I'll just go to right. No big deal. Oh, you're going to put up I'll just smash it right back towards the pitcher and hit the gate or the fence in front of him. All right. So, Angie, we'll stop embarrassing you. Let's get to your specialty and let's talk about these Mariners and less about what you were like as a hitter. When you watch them hit, what looks most different from what we had all watched previously?
Gosh, I know, and listen, I'm going to give props where props due with Edgar Martinez, but Edgar has always sort of been in there, kind of whispering in the ears, in the background. Last year, in the previous years, I really believe that Kevin Seitzer has had a huge impact on this team. And the thing that I love about this, and this is something you guys know, good coaches are those people that can, look at what's happening and make that little adjustment. I mean, I remember this story about Luke Raley, and if you've seen Luke Raley, play the game when he was healthy, he's just a ball of tense. And so, I mean, like Seitz goes up and takes both his arms and shakes both of his arms out and makes him get all loose, and then, puts the bat in his hand. And he's like, all right, now engage the core. So it's like getting him to engage the core so he takes the tension out of his arms. And it's just his ability to see what needs to be fixed, make it simple, put it in words and terms that the player, can understand and then incorporate. I've really been impressed with Seitzer, and he's just I adore him. And then Bobby Magallanes, his assistant kind of comes in there and fills in all the little gaps, and he's the guy that wants to watch video for hours and hours and measure this and measure that. But I just think the two of them working together has made a really huge impact on this offense.
Angie, I know you filled in last year a bunch as well, and you did so well. It opened this opportunity this year to be in a much more full-time basis up in the booth. And I've always said there's a big difference between being in the studio and actually out on the road. And, when you get to be in person and you get to meet the coaches and you get to travel and you get to see all of that. So I'm kind of curious, is now you're kind of full-time out of the studio and you're traveling with this team on a regular basis. What has jumped out to you in this experience?
Well, I mean, it's different, I think, Brock, in that, I would travel with the team from time to time, but as a host.
Yes.
And, traveling as an analyst, and I will say that, Edgar's always been fantastic whenever he's, with the team. Seitz has been fantastic. The players are really open about sharing what it is they're working on, what it is they're doing with me, what they're swinging, why they're swinging it, what they feel. And that's kind of continued to really sort of, grow as I've, sort of pestered them more about these sorts of things.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's that, just the understanding. And then Pete, Pete Woodworth, goodness gracious, he's fantastic. I hope that if he ever stops coaching, he just comes straight into the booth, just come to the dark side.
Well, it kind of fits into a question I was going to ask you.
Articulating the game. Yeah.
Sorry, we lost you for just a sec, but it kind of fits into a question I wanted to ask you, which is, who are you learning from on this team? Which players, which coaches, who are you kind of talking to and learning even more about the game from?
All of the above. And they have been so great. I mean, Trent Blank's been fantastic. Bobby and I sat down for hours, and just chatted hitting. concepts, different guys, what they do well, what they're working on. Seitzer, like I said, every day he's there. If I just have a little quick question about this, that, or the other thing. So, Dan obviously is great. He chats with us every single day. Tony Arch. Everybody. Everybody has been great. And I say this all the time, the best coaches are the best thieves. And I love just stealing wisdom from, players, coaches. I love this game. I love breaking down the game. I love figuring out what makes people successful at, something that is just so incredibly hard to do in hitting. Perry Hill. Perry's my buddy. So yeah, yes, all of them. So they've all been absolutely fantastic with me.
And this is no slight on anybody, and Angie Mentink here with us. This is not a dig on the past at all, Angie. And obviously Scott, I think we all felt like was a tremendous communicator as well. He was an open book for us and just a great guy as well. But is there a little deeper level of maybe that communication throughout the entirety of the staff? We've heard about Dan empowering players as kind of a similar vein and really empowering maybe the staff as well to be open and transparent.
I think that this game is just, every game is. So I don't care, if you play a sport at the highest level, it's just so difficult. And I think, the one thing about baseball is just the grind. It's, the grind of 162. And if you are going to wear yourself down into a nub, you're not going to last over the course of this season. And I think that that's sort of the same, with the people around you and the staff. And I think there's, it's just there's just a different vibe. And I think that Scott maybe in some ways was like more clear on what he wanted to do and how he wanted to do it. Where Dan is really sort of, more collective, like, hey, what do you guys see? And, relying on those people that are sort of responsible for all their different things and really taking in their input. And, ultimately he's going to make the decision, no doubt about it. But, those people are in those positions because that's what they excel at. And so their voices are really critical and really important.
It has been interesting since you bring that up. Some of the in-game decisions have been certainly different from the way that we've seen them made over the last however many years. And I don't know that I agree with a lot of them, but they're all seemingly working, mostly because the players are making them work. And I think a lot of that probably has to do with everything you've just talked about, the communication and the preparation, everything that happens ahead of time. In your time and all your years playing, did you ever think much about managerial decision-making in games while you were playing?
That's a good question. Yes, I think I did in the sense like, most of it I think is when you're a player is I wouldn't have done that. It's not so much what you would do, but like what's coach doing here, or what's the skip doing here. So I think that would be the extent probably of my thinking about managerial decisions. I was always thinking about what I would throw, or what would be difficult to hit in a certain situation. So even though I was never a pitcher, I sort of always kind of thought the game that way. I could see how to set up a hitter. So I think my thought process went there. So it was more, I would say I was more like a catcher, if you will, even though that was not a position I played.
More important for a modern manager to do the in-game stuff and be great at the in-game decision-making, or to be a communicator setting the philosophy, et cetera?
I think that I think it's probably, both of them are really important, but at the same time, I think the atmosphere. I just think it's so incredibly important that players don't play tight. I think that there's only one way. It's like I talk about like skiing. You know, if you've ever been skiing, you have to point your skis down the hill. You can't be back on your heels. There's only one way to play this game, and you have to be fearless. And I think that it's really important that, you know, a manager or whoever your coach is, you know, that you work with the most, makes you feel that you can play this game, you know, fearlessly. And then, you know, sometimes you're going to guess right. Sometimes, you know, it's not going to work out. I mean, the other day, Dan went to the bullpen early, you know, with Emerson. And I was like, wow, okay, you know, and it worked out, and it was great. I mean, he's going to make decisions and they're not going to work out. And sometimes, you know, we've looked and we've been like, well, that's an odd one. But also, most of the time he's making somebody has been in his ear, somebody has given him some information, and then, you know, whether he uses that information, goes with his gut. I mean, he is given that information, and, you know, more times than not, you know, that is heavily influencing the decision he ends up making, even if he is leaning more towards his gut.
Angie, there's a long list of really pleasant surprises through the first 50 games here. Brian Woo being the ace of this staff. What Cal is doing is the fourth best player in all of baseball from a WRC plus. Mooney on the back end of things, of all of the pleasant surprises, and even some of the guys that have been called up and filled some valuable roles. What has been in a couple of the most pleasant surprises to you?
There's a lot. You know, you bring up Woo, and I've been thinking about Woo lately because we keep talking about it. He's been the ace of this staff. And I'm like, you know, I kind of asked myself, like, if Logan was healthy and Kirby on the other side, like, would I still be saying that? You know what I mean? If they were doing their things. Because that's sort of what we expected to see. Not one of those guys. We expected to see really 3 or 4 of those guys. And so, you know, as far as the guys coming in that have filled in, Logan Evans has been, you know, I've been impressed with his resiliency. I see what Emerson Hancock has been able to do. His velo is stuck. It has, you know, maintained since spring training. And when he's hitting 97, that makes, you know, all those swing decisions that much harder. For the hitter, I think about Gabe Spire and where he is and how he's bounced back. Munoz is sick. And then, I mean, I would say the collective bottom of the order has been really impressive. And we saw it again, sort of, you know, the Garvers, the Rivas's of the world, you know, even some Miles Mastrobuoni. If you're going to win, you're going to need your guys up top to, like, do it. You do their big things, you know, get the sock, get the home runs, but you've got to have that bottom contributions, and they're doing that. J.P. Crawford, he's only got 4 home runs. I swear, it feels like it's more than that. But he's done a really good job with runners in scoring position. That's a huge stat. I love all of our, you know, our nerd stats, but runners in scoring position is still one that I kind of like really, you know, focus on. And what do you do when it matters? And that's been a really pleasant surprise is the J.P. Crawford in the season he had. Because I have to admit, at the end of last year, I was worried a little bit, you know?
I don't think you were alone. I think there were a lot of people that were pretty worried. So we just have another couple minutes. And I know we've talked about this and we've had you on before, but it dawned on me as you were on doing the broadcast last week that I don't know whether everyone knows your baseball story. Right. I mean, just as it's the part of the reason you're in that booth and why you are as credible as you are, why we love listening to you, why you know the game so well. Could you give like the 2-minute version of your baseball journey for people that either haven't heard it or don't remember it or just like to hear you talk?
And kind of have it end in the high-heeled boots. Yeah, have it end in the high-heeled boots BP show you put on.
My Ron Furley sniff. All right, here we go. No, I obviously, you know, grew up playing softball because that was sort of, you know, what was, you know, available to me at the time that I sort of pivoted and went to baseball. I was an alternate for the U.S. Olympic team for softball. I just, finished playing at the University of Washington, had a pretty solid career there. And I either was going to go play Olympic softball. If I signed up, the way things were back then, if you signed a professional contract, you were no longer eligible to play for the Olympics. Well, it was just a no-brainer for me because as a kid growing up and 3 brothers, all of them played baseball in college. Like my dream was to, be that first woman to play professional baseball. So to go and sign a contract to the Silver Bullets, was just like a dream come true. Thousands of women, all over the country at different tryouts. I tried out in Everett and made it to spring training, hundreds of women there, spring training for 24 spots, and ended up making the Silver Bullets and got to play for Hall of Fame knuckleball pitcher Phil Niekro. Joe Niekro was our pitching coach. Johnny Grubb from World Series Detroit Tigers team was our hitting coach and our outfield coach. Poor guy, just a Georgia Southern gentleman. Never heard the words coming out of these women's mouth that he heard. The Silver Bullets, and just, toured the country and played against really good teams, some really bad teams, AAA teams, Australian Olympic team. We went over to Taiwan, played against the Taiwan Major League, just a whole bunch of, baseball in a few years. And Phil Niekro, he and I did so many different things together, and I have bar tricks to last me the rest of my life. And he was a fantastic, really amazing person. But yeah, just playing baseball against men for 2 years, and just having the time of my life, and then came back and started covering the Mariners. And 28 years later, here we are.
Amazing. Yeah, that's cool too that all the other women were, had foul mouths, and you were just there,
right. Clean them up.
Not part of that. It's amazing how that works.
Angie, which
shining example?
That's you for the children, for the youth.
Last question for me, Angie. Which current Mariner, or you can go into your 28-year history Mariner, did Angie Mentink's professional game most resemble?
Oh. Wow. Okay. Yeah. Well, I sound like I'm like this. Okay. So this is a funny story. The other day, somebody added me that this chick at Oregon was 15 stolen bases away from Angie Mentink's Big Ten record. And I was like, what did you just say? Like, my Big Ten record? Well, yeah, because I had 59 stolen bases at the UW. It was beaten by a gal from Arizona who got 62. Well, guess what? Now the UW's in the Big Ten. So apparently my 59 is the conference record again.
Oh, you have the Big Ten record?
Yes.
Exactly.
Even though you never even played in the Big Ten.
Never played in the Big Ten. Never played in the Big Ten. This is just fantastic.
Wow.
But I mean, all the UW records go, and I don't know where you are, Brock. I don't know where you are. Maybe you should look into it, where you are in the Big Ten record book.
I'm sure he's very high in the Big Ten. They haven't had a lot of good quarterbacks, so Brock's probably pretty high.
Okay, so my point is, I was a singles hitter with a really high average. I think my career batting average at UW was 429. I am a singles hitter. Every once in a while, pop one. I still steal a lot of bases, and nothing drops in the outfield.
So you're Ichiro.
So that's what I was just going to say. I'm like, I'm Ichiro.
Yeah, you're Ichiro.
Yes, Ichiro.
Yeah.
Well, nobody said that, you're Ichiro. Absolutely.
I am not a Hall of Famer, but I'm saying my game was a lot like.
How many hours do you spend stretching every day? Is it Ichiro-like? Yeah. Also, have you thought about wearing a full uniform up to the booth, much like Ichiro would do?
That would be good.
All
That
right.
would be good.
Angie, it's been great.
He's a legend. I am not a legend. I just meant,
I don't know whether I agree with that. You're the Big Ten steals leader. And it's been a blast listening to you and having you on the broadcast this year. Continued success. Thanks for joining us, and we'll make sure to do it again soon.
This was absolutely delightful. Gentlemen, thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Angie is absolutely a legend. I'm just going to say that, and I'm going to state it, not even just as an opinion, just as a fact. Brock's in. We got a lot of Mariners to talk next. It's Brock and Salk, Seattle Sports on 710, seattlesports.com.
Only Brock and Salk in Seattle Sports go one-on-one with Raiders head coach Pete Carroll. Dude, that still sounds so weird.
Are you kidding me? Good morning, Coach. How are you?
What's happening, fellas? Nice to see you.
Nice to see you, too. It's been a while. How
Yeah,
are
I
you?
bet. I get it. Yeah, you haven't called me once. What are you talking about? Doing great. We're having a blast. The energy around this building is really familiar and really fun.
The whole conversation's on video. Watch it on YouTube or the Seattle Sports app.
G. Scott here with former Seahawk Doug Baldwin. Tell us about Nourishing Champions.
We know the benefits for young people in sports, but we often don't think about the barriers. And one of those barriers is having proper nutrition. So Nourishing Champions, in partnership with Champions of Change and Safeway, is an effort to address those barriers so that our student athletes have what they need to excel both on the field and in the classroom.
High schools can apply for grants up to $25,000 from Nourishing Champions. Learn more at championsofchangefoundation.org/Nourishing Champions.
This is the story of the one. As a safety manager at a manufacturing plant, he does everything he can to keep his coworkers safe. From finding ways to reduce risks to keeping safety supplies in stock. And for that, he relies on Grainger. Grainger offers a broad range of quality products and next-day delivery, so he can always play it safe. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Now more than ever, Lowe's knows you don't just want a low price, you want the lowest price. And with our lowest price guarantee, you can count on us for competitive prices on all your home improvement projects. If you find a qualifying lower price somewhere else on the same item, we'll match it. Lowe's, we help, you save. Price match applies the same item. Current price at qualifying retailers. Exclusions and terms apply. Learn how we'll match price at lowes.com/lowest price guarantee.
What is that sound? Ugh, that sounds like a plumbing sound. Luckily, there's a company that fixes all the plumbing sounds across Puget Sound. That's All Sound Plumbing. Puget Sound's plumbing experts. Have a sound? Visit allsoundplumbing.com.
Lake Washington Windows and Doors makes it easy to enjoy new windows with clean glass technology now and defer paying for them until 2026 with 0 down, 0 payments, and 0 interest for 12 months. Visit lakewashingtonwindows.com.
Feeling lucky? Don't miss the Lucky Classic Collector Car Truck and Boat Auction, Saturday, May 31st at Tacoma's LeMay Marymount Event Center. Hundreds of cars, vintage, muscle, exotic, classics, trucks, boats, and more. Saturday, May 31st at Tacoma's LeMay Marymount Event Center. Millions of dollars in inventory, many must sell with no reserve whatsoever. Get lucky, get local, and get in line for the Northwest's greatest collector car auction. Auction details at luckyoldcar.com.
You've heard the saying, you never get a second chance to make a first impression. Since 1926, my family's been helping local businesses make great first, second, and long-term impressions. We know how to make your company look good with quality uniforms, logoed apparel, floor mats, linens, and more. If you're paying for linen service or doing it yourself, let's have the conversation. The information and quote are free, but the savings and service can really add up. Visit suplinen.com. Superior Linen Service. It's what we do.
Why'd I go to the doctor? One day at the firehouse, I was so lightheaded I could barely stand. Even my crew noticed. Getting checked out was the right call. Turns out I have atrial fibrillation, which increases the risk of stroke about 5 times.
Symptoms like irregular heartbeat, heart racing, chest pain, shortness of breath, fatigue, or lightheadedness can come and go. But if it's AFib, the risk of stroke remains. If you have symptoms, contact a doctor.
I'm so glad I did.
Visit notimetowait.com. Sponsored by Bristol-Myers Squibb and Pfizer.
Check engine or ABS light on? Take the guesswork out of your warning lights with O'Reilly Veriscan. It's free. Ask for O'Reilly Veriscan.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
How can you free your team from time-consuming office tasks? Amazon Business.
Smart business buying tools enable buyers to find and purchase items fast so they can focus on strategy and growth. Free up your team and focus on your future. Learn more at AmazonBusiness.com.
Texting enrolls you in recurring automated text messages. Consent not required to purchase. Message and data rates may apply.
Hey, Dan, how you doing? Haven't seen you around the gym for a while.
Yeah, I've really fallen off. Since I turned 40, I just don't get the results I used to get.
Could be lower testosterone.
Lower T?
Yeah, I went through it a while back. Once you hit 40, your body has less free testosterone. I got Nugenix Total T, and it's made a huge difference for me.
I've seen that ad on TV. Is it for real?
Oh, yeah. The key ingredient is something called Tesnor, which helps boost free and total testosterone levels to help you trim up and stay lean.
And it's made a difference for you?
Man, I feel like I'm in my 20s again. At work, in the gym, and in the bedroom.
Are they still giving out complimentary bottles for people to try it for themselves?
Yeah, you just need to send them a text.
Text BODY to 321-321 right now for your complimentary bottle of Nugenix Total T, the #1 selling testosterone booster at GNC. Plus, text now and we'll include a bottle of Nugenix Thermo, our most powerful fat incinerator ever, to help you get back into shape fast. Absolutely free. Text BODY to 321-321. That's BODY to 321-321.
Let's go! This is Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app.
KIRO AM Seattle. KIRO FM HD2 Tacoma. Home of the Seahawks, Mariners, and everything Seattle sports.
Give me a freaking auto!
From the Quantum Fiber Studio, this is Brock and Salk on Seattle Sports.
Brock Ewert is my hero.
Jay Buhner just punched me in the kidney.
Who's going to accuse you of manager?
Doesn't really work that way, Sherm. This is a show that has my name on it.
It kind of does, though.
Now here are your hosts, Brock Ewert and Mike Salk.
Good morning, Brock.
Good morning, Michael.
How are we doing today?
You'd be proud of me.
I always am.
Had
Why
our first
today?
mini camp last night.
Yeah?
And you'll notice my voice.
Oh, wow.
It's just fine.
How'd you manage that?
That's just fine.
How did you manage that?
Just getting older and wiser, Salky.
You knew not to yell.
Well, maybe yesterday was more of a defensive emphasis.
Okay,
and today is more of an offensive emphasis.
So how will your voice be tomorrow?
That's going to be a good test. It's
Okay.
going to be a good test.
Do you
for
think
your
you can
show.
handle that? I mean, like, it is hard. I get it. Like, can you handle not yelling so loud that you hurt yourself?
It's a good question. I'll tell you what else. I made a decision before the show that I'm going to change. After this first break, I'm going to go upstairs and I'm going to grab something, and you and Maura and Lyle, maybe the audience, can decide whether I wear it tonight to practice.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. Well, we'll be prepared for that.
Good.
That sounds exciting.
Yes, and then I got to come home and got to watch just the Mariners stay red hot. How about that? 4 in a row. How about your boy? Fire the music.
No.
Fire the freaking pottery.
Nah,
wheel.
you can't fire the
kiln.
music. You can't
Fire
do
the
that.
glazing.
No.
Fire the paint. Fire it all.
He was really good yesterday, but
It's like he had 22 inches of run on a fastball.
he had a lot of run. We spent some time trying to figure it out this morning. Was that because it was 4-seam velocity and 2-seam movement?
Yeah.
So what was that?
It was Chicago.
Was that a
It's Windy
3?
City.
Is that a 3-seamer? Like, what was he throwing yesterday?
I don't know.
Whatever it was just, I mean, honestly, it was ridiculous. They did not have much of a chance. He left a couple of changeups up. Those that still remains to be a bit of an issue for Luis, and thankfully that White Sox lineup is an atrocity and had no ability to handle the mistakes that he did make. And when he wasn't making mistakes, which was most of the time, he was just dominating with the fastball. And yeah, the amount of movement that he had on that thing was pretty ridiculous. We were, kind of wondering, a week or so ago, does he still have the adjustment ability to be a dominant pitcher at his age? The thing is,
does he have the velo?
But he did
to really challenge guys.
His last 2 times out, he's had the velo.
Yes, he has.
So what do you think's going on with the velocity? Why is everyone's velo up the last week or so? Because Hancock was throwing the hardest he's ever thrown in his life. Castillo was back up at 96, occasionally at 97. Brian Woo's velo was at
Greg Spire is back up and
Gabe.
healthy. And
Where
fine.
the big Gabe Spire, not Greg
did I say?
Spires.
Why do I say that?
Same.
He's a defensive end that I think I even played with.
Both of us make that same mistake. What?
Be better, Heward. Be better.
Why do you think all their velo was up?
Is it just arm strengthening? Is it just building the arm up?
I don't know.
Is it just kind of you get through April and you get into May and And the more you pitch, you work through stuff. I mean, Logan has said this. Bryce has said it, right? As they battled some injury this year, they say, there's just parts of seasons you go through, and you just got to overcome and kind of get through and break through those things. And and then ultimately, there's probably going to be a point this summer after 100 innings where you're not there. Right, and you just kind of ebb and flow a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know the answer to the question. I'm posing a question to which I don't have a clue what the answer is. It could be that. Maybe they've made mechanical changes. Maybe there's a push to, they decided that was something they needed to do right now in order, this part of the season. I don't know. Angie kind of brought up yesterday whether Woo, and I think you could probably throw Castillo in there, are they kind of stepping up without Kirby and Gilbert and now Miller in the rotation?
You bring up Woo, and I've been thinking about Woo lately because we keep talking about it. He's been the ace of this staff. And I'm like, and I kind of asked myself, like, if Logan was healthy and Kirby on the other side, like, would I still be saying that? You know what I mean? If they were doing their things. Because that's sort of what we expected to see. Not one of those guys. We expected to see really 3 or 4 of those guys.
So the question, I mean, she's thinking of it more in terms of what you notice, but the other part of it is, are they stepping up because they have to? Are you seeing more from Castillo, more from Woo, because they're in a position where, hey, their 3 compadres are down and they got to step up?
Yeah, I think it'd probably be different for those two. Certainly for Luis, with a decade of experience, and I'd be hard pressed to believe that all of a sudden he just just cranks up the urgency or the focus or however you want to deem that. I think for a Logan Evans and an Emerson Hancock, that is a definitive yes. Like, this is my opportunity. George and Big Logan are not shut down for the year, and they can see him in the dugout, and Big Logan carrying the trident around, and George, back with the team and in the fold. And I think for those two guys, quote unquote, stepping up, or maybe stepping into this opportunity and making the most of it. And honest to goodness, man, just if George and Logan can come back, think about what this does over the next 116 games, right? And Bryce as well. I mean, think of what this depth that you've created, through this pitching and what you're seeing. I mean, that's how you legitimately become somebody nobody wants to see.
Yeah, that's how you built this thing, right? I mean, that's kind of what you're supposed to be. I mean, they've allowed 4 runs in their last 4 games. That was the idea when you put together this team.
And scoring 5 a game.
Right. Well, that certainly helps when you keep doing that. Yeah, average score has been 5-1 in all 4 of these wins. I tend to think, just to come back to the original question there, I tend to think that doesn't happen a lot in baseball. I tend to think that trying to step up generally doesn't work in this sport. That, and especially for pitchers. Maybe they throw a little harder. Maybe, right? Like maybe they feel a little bit more onus and they can reach into their bag a little bit earlier. So maybe there's a little bit. But my gut tells me that in this sport, that's just not as much of a thing. What I do wonder about more is, does their leadership, does their voice grow a little bit with some absence? And I feel like maybe that's what we were seeing with Brian Woo in his last start, right? The yelling and the cheering.
Just comfortable in their own skin.
Yeah.
And Mariners, pitching rotation is a little bit like the NFL playoffs. Every year in the NFL playoffs, there is somebody that rises. There's somebody new.
I thought you said
for
they
the
were
Mariners
going to get
rotation.
reseeded.
It was Luis Castillo, an all-star, and then it's George Kirby, an all-star, and then it's Logan Gilbert, an all-star. Right? Is it now Brian Woo? Like, hey man, this is just what happens here. This is the development game, and this is Pete Woodworth and everything that Angie was praising about him, and we have always heard praised about him and his pitching staff. Like, yeah, and now Woo is the one playing with that kind of confidence, playing with that kind of production, and playing himself into the All-Star game, which is, again, pretty stinking remarkable for a team and portends, I would think, really neat things over the course of the summer.
Yeah, all true. And regardless of the reasons why, regardless of whether it's leadership or velocity, or they're just pitching well. And now you end up with what's probably going to be a rainout tonight and possibly another one tomorrow. I don't know whether that's good or bad for them. I think I can kind of write you both scripts. I mean, obviously you're rolling along. The last thing you want to do is to not keep playing, especially against this just atrocious Chicago lineup. But on the other hand, tonight's a TBD, right? Like, was it going to be Jonathan Diaz? Did they ever even announce who's supposed to start tonight? I still haven't seen it anywhere. Maybe they announced it and I missed it. I was looking last night. I looked again this morning.
Think it's going to be Casey Lawrence. He's not activated yet, but he's there.
Okay, so probably would be Casey Lawrence. But if there's no game tonight and there's no game tomorrow, you can essentially survive the Bryce Miller injury by bringing back George Kirby to replace Jonathan Diaz on the roster, and then you don't even need Casey Lawrence or Jonathan Diaz. So, I mean, you could kind of write this either way in terms of what would be best for the Mariners. Obviously, we'll wait and see. You don't get a choice. I mean, the weather is what it is, and maybe it'll be a rain out tonight and possibly tomorrow as well. We'll come back here with everything you need to know because Luis was not the only story last night, Brock. There's another guy who certainly worked his way into this equation. That's next on Brock and Salk.
Only Brock and Salk and Seattle Sports go one-on-one with Raiders head coach Pete Carroll. Dude, that still sounds so weird.
Are you kidding me?
Good morning, Coach. How are you?
What's happening, fellas? Nice to see you.
Nice to see you, too. It's been a while. How
I
are you?
bet. I get it. Yeah. You haven't called me once. What are you talking about? Doing great. We're having a blast. The energy around this building is really familiar and really fun.
The whole conversation's on video. Watch it on YouTube or the Seattle Sports app.
So I formed Davis Law Group about 30 years ago, and I would get, the same questions from people about what to do in the case of an accident. Do you need a lawyer? To the point where I decided that I would at least write a book which would answer the common questions that I would receive as a lawyer. Once I wrote my first book, it proved to be hugely popular. I decided to write then a series of books in different accident cases so that we could really teach people about their rights, how to protect them, and how to decide on whether they need a lawyer and what lawyer to hire. I've found in my career that having a client that is educated and knowledgeable about their particular type of case really helps the client and also usually ends up making the case or the claim more successful. To get your free copy of any of my Washington accident books, visit WashingtonAccidentBooks.com.
Comcast Business is celebrating Small Business Month by giving you a $1,000 small business bonus when you switch to a qualifying gig speed package from the company with over 99.99% network reliability. Just imagine the thousands of possibilities of a $1,000 prepaid card. Like possibility number 1, company merch for staff. Styling. Or possibility number 24, the latest software. Upgrade. Or possibility number 192, new equipment powered by gig speeds. Or possibility number 555, a 3D printer. Rapid prototyping, anyone? Switch to Comcast Business for over 99.99% network reliability, advanced cybersecurity, and now get started with a $1,000 small business bonus. Comcast Business, powering possibilities.
And 6/22/25. New customers only with 2-year agreement. Other restrictions apply.
At O'Neill Plumbing, we've been exclusively plumbers for over 100 years. No corny mascots, no out-of-town owners. Just clean, fast, and professional plumbers out to your home fast. All rooter and all trenchless. O'Neill Plumbing.
I'm Rusty George. My local marketing agency specializes in helping companies in the building and manufacturing industries develop the right kind of websites and marketing strategies to attract and win more business. Visit us today at rustygeorge.com.
At Uline, the prevailing opinion is, if you don't live it, you don't believe it. The people at Uline believe in hard work, and they live it by being there 24/7 to answer your call, having 41,000 items in stock, and offering same-day shipping from 12 locations across North America. Business owners, sellers, buyers, shippers, and packers believe it. Uline is the hard-working, dependable source for your shipping and industrial supplies. Visit uline.com.
Synthetic Turf Northwest is now open in Fife, the South Sound headquarters for premium synthetic turf. They help homeowners with a turnkey solution, DIYers, and contractors and landscapers needing quality products. With premium turf in stock, expert advice, and pro installation services, everything you need is under one roof. Visit their new showroom off I-5 in Fife. Synthetic Turf Northwest. Supplies and installation expertise all in one place. Mention radio for up to $1,000 off. SyntheticTurfNorthwest.com.
4 down territory, going inside the game with Michael Bumpus.
I like this. More quarterbacks should start doing this.
Every day at 11:15 and 1:15 on Bump and Stacy.
When the heat's in 11,
Cool AC would be heaven.
dayandnight.net.
Beat the rush.
Act now before summer.
Because that heat's a real bummer.
Dayandnight.net.
Even though our Northwest summers can be spectacular, there's always a long, hot stretch that makes everyone say, man, AC sure would be nice. Well, except for that one annoying friend who won't stop talking about how great his AC is. Hi, I'm Bruce with Day and Night Plumbing and Heating. You can stay comfortably cool when those hot temps arrive. This is the time to plan ahead and call us about installing a high-efficiency AC or heat pump. Or if you have an existing system, we'll come and service it. Make sure it's running efficiently and ready to cool when you need it.
Before the summer heat wave.
Keep your house cool and safe.
Dayandnight.net. Make sure your AC will keep you cool when the summer heat gets here. Save $50 on a pre-summer AC tune-up. When the heat's at 11, stay cool with Day and Night. Dayandnight.net.
Hey, it's Mike Rohn. If I have a choice, I like to do business with companies that actually stand for something. That's why I switched from Verizon to Pure Talk. No offense to Verizon, I'm sure they stand for something. I just don't know what it is. Pure Talk, on the other hand, is a veteran-owned company that supports our military in a big way, and I appreciate that. Yeah, I also appreciate unlimited talk and text and plenty of data for half the cost of the big guys, and I do like being on America's most dependable 5G network for just $20 a month, but what I really appreciate is no contract, no cancellation fees, and Pure Talk's commitment to handle all their customer service in this country. I saw it for myself. I went to Georgia, I got a tour of their headquarters, I met their CEO, and I talked to the same customer service folks that you'll talk to when you dial pound 250 and say keyword Mike Rowe. Switch today and save 50% off your first month when you dial pound 250 and say keyword Mike Rowe. Pure Talk. A wireless company that actually stands for something.
Need to know.
15 minutes past every hour with Brock and Salk.
Here's what you need to know. Up first.
Well, the Mariners on the road, Brock, is a pretty good combination. They just keep on winning 4 straight games now. Chicago, not much of a test for Luis Castillo as he turned in really a vintage performance. 7 shutout innings, really hardly in trouble. 3 hits, no walks, 5 strikeouts. Got the defense when he needed it.
Line. He delivers. Swung on, line drive left field. Here comes Randy. He goes to a dive. He tumbles. He's down. He makes the catch. Randy Arozarena. A tremendous catch in left field ends the inning. And Luis Castillo has gone 7 scoreless tonight against the White Sox. And he gets a little help from Randy Land.
Randy's been pretty good.
Yeah.
He's done a lot of really good things.
It's just nice to see him full speed.
Uh-huh.
I think there was a week or a week and a half there where you're babying that and he's not getting some stuff and he's not a threat on the base pass.
Yep.
And yeah, and you do kind of forget that he is one of your fastest guys. I mean, when he's, full speed and going, now maybe not taking the angles and doing the things that Julio does in center field, but certainly on the base pass, I think still leads his team in steals. So great to see him back to full speed. And then even though that starter yesterday went longer than any other starter did against the Mariners all season, he was pretty good.
He was pretty good yesterday. I give that guy some credit. But once he got out of the game,
and with a sign delivers, swinging a well-hit ball deep to left field. Slater going back, and this one is gone. Goodbye, baseball. Grandma, get out the rye bread and mustard. It is grand salami time. Julio Rodriguez with a grand slam, his 8th home run of the season. The Mariners' 4th salami on the year, and the Mariners get the insurance runs they were looking for.
Would you say that Julio entered the chat, Lyle?
I don't know if that's the right context for that.
You don't think
sure.
Julio has entered the chat would be appropriate? I think it would. I don't think you know.
When you enter the chat, it's for the first time.
Well, first time in a while. Like he's entering the chat of the season.
Like Lefko does when you're out. Like he just immediately jumps on.
Oh, he just immediately does.
Yeah, the minute he hears you're out and he's in. He's like little Logan Evans, running to put that uniform on. Can't wait to get on that chat. Enter that chat with more on Brock and Lyle.
That's pretty funny.
You know what? I'll just say yes.
I think it's right. I don't know. I think it's right.
Did you think that was out?
And you don't like it.
Yeah, that's fine. I don't really care what he says.
Did you think it was out when he hit it?
Yes.
Because a lot of those balls died.
They did. I thought a few other balls were out when they were hit.
Yes.
So yeah, but no, it sure felt out when he hit it, and it was out. I mean, he got all that one. They win 5-1. Really, the only blemish in this game, I guess, was having to bring in Andres Munoz in the 9th after Taylor did not look great. But that may not matter really if you end up with a couple of rainouts tonight and tomorrow.
Is that what they're calling for?
Yeah, a lot of rain in Chicago.
I know today there's a lot of rain.
Yeah, maybe even tomorrow.
Maybe talk doubleheader.
We'll see. We'll see what all that looks like. Julio, was he looking for that first pitch?
You know, I was ready to swing. You know, I was ready to swing. You know, find something that I could drive and like maybe bring one run in. But I was able to hit it over the fence and bring them home.
I don't want to. He's always ready to swing. Swinging 57% of the pitches he sees. Like, yeah, I know you were ready to swing, Julio. You're always ready to swing. That part is not a huge surprise. If you're looking for other things that aren't big surprises, Dan Wilson, not willing to give you much on the health of Jorge Polanco, who's not hitting against lefties again.
He's doing fine.
Okay, sure.
You know, he's coming along, and you know, right-handed swings are not too far behind, but you know, we're just taking it slow, and you know, his RBI single early was a big lift for us. I think you know, getting on the board, getting us ahead, giving Louis you know, a little bit of breathing room there on the mound was helpful, and that was a big hit for us early in the game.
Oh, he's doing fine. Let me just change the subject.
At least hockey will give you lower body injury or upper body injury. Do we know?
Is
this
just
oblique? Is this knee? What is this?
This is
Hammy?
just straight up not telling you anything. Oh no, he's totally fine. We're not playing him against lefties anymore again.
That's a hockey. That's a hockey player.
That's fine. He's totally fine. No problems whatsoever. Nothing to see here. Look over there.
Here's the second thing you need to know.
We got dates, Brock, and times for Seahawks preseason games. They'll play the Raiders August 7th, Thursday night at 7. Following Friday at home against Kansas City, also 7 o'clock. And then Green Bay Saturday, August 23rd, the final tune-up at 1 o'clock.
As much as I like the regular season schedule, I like this maybe even more.
Oh, wow.
I'll tell you, a little more in-depth than Blue 88 as to why, as you kind of look through the details of it.
Quite a breakdown.
How fun is that Thursday going to be, by the way? The Mariners have a matinee game that day.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
I wasn't expecting such a breakdown of preseason schedule, but
that's what I do, Salk. I was a preseason analyst. That gave me my break in life, all right?
This is really your wheelhouse then.
Yes, it was.
Okay.
Yes, it was.
NFL
a preseason star, by the way. Go look at my preseason NFL numbers.
I should have known, Brock, that this was really where you would come to shine. That's
darn
on me.
good.
NFL meetings this week. Looks like they're going to end up having the tush-push banned. It looks like Detroit wants to seed based entirely on record.
Come on.
Well, that's kind of lame.
That is weak.
And then I do like the idea of moving the kickoff up, giving the kickoff team an extra yard on onside kicks, so they'd only be 9 yards away instead of 10.
Yeah.
To try to make it go up a little bit, like make it possible. And then
it looks like NFL dudes also get to play in the Olympics.
Yeah, do you like that?
I do like that.
No downside, right?
No, well,
I mean, I guess guys
there's
get
always
hurt.
a little bit of risk,
but it seems kind of cool. Yeah, I like all those things.
Here's the third thing you need to know.
NHL playoffs will be back tonight. Game 1 of the Eastern Conference Finals, Carolina and Florida. Dallas, Edmonton will be tomorrow in the West. So I spent a bunch of time reading about what's going on in Toronto.
I tried to read that article too. It's
Did
just
you?
a lot of names I didn't know anything about.
That's fair.
So I really did. You sent it, and when you send things, I try to honor you.
I appreciate that.
But I was about halfway through it, and I scrolled down. I was like, man, there's a lot more.
I don't know
here.
who any of these people
I don't know
are.
any of these people. I'm really not that engaged.
All right. Well, here's the long and short of it.
Give me the skinny.
They've had the core four, right, in Toronto, and they failed. Tavares is older. He's not coming out here. Forget about that one. Austin Matthews, not going anywhere. Nylander, I don't think that's the direction they'll go. And so really this is a conversation about Mitch Marner, who's an unrestricted free agent and who's really good. He's a 100-point a season type of guy, 25 to 35 goals, 75 to 85 assists. Like that's kind of what you're looking for. He's 28 years old this year. I read, I don't know how many articles trying to figure out, okay, what are the projected landing spots for Mitch Marner? And I saw them up to like 10 projected landing spots for Marner. Did not one time see the Kraken's name come up. Not once.
Yep.
That stinks.
That's not good.
No, I mean, that's kind of.
That's everything you need to know.
Well, the Storm also win last night,
did.
Brock. They even up their record. 1-1, beat Dallas by 8.
Okay. Did I ever tell you what my my broadcast crew got me as a going away gift? Really sweet. You know, the final game, Mountain West Championship. They set up a little kind of surprise going away. You know, it was very tearful, very emotional.
Sure.
And they got me a gift.
Okay.
Allison and Jason and Bo and Darren. Did I ever share this with you guys?
No.
So they got me a gift, and I'm really curious if I wear it tonight.
Oh, no.
Yeah, because we had Dion 4 different times. They got me a whistle. So it's not just any kind of whistle.
It's blinged out.
It is a bling bling whistle.
For anybody watching on YouTube, that is a bedazzled whistle on a chain.
I mean, it's a heavy. It's pretty bling bling.
Yeah.
Let me put it on for you. Maybe you need to see it on me.
That would be good. Yeah, I'm curious whether or not you wear gifts.
Ooh, I was wondering if this was going to come up.
So do you think it's a little much?
No, I think you should use that. Oh, thanks. That's a nice sound. Please, God, stop doing that.
Come on, tight ends.
Oh, my God.
High knees.
Please stop doing that.
Let's
No,
go.
stop. No, I think, A, that you should wear it. And B, I'm surprised. I didn't know that you wore gifts that were given to you. So I'm impressed that you would consider wearing this whistle. That's cool.
You know what? Maybe for the next segment, I'll take my shirt off and I'll put.
I don't want to be guilted into anything.
No, because I was a preseason warrior.
No.
And I'm talking preseason in Blue 88. I'm going to do it.
Nobody needs to be guilted into wearing anything that they obviously don't like.
Well, this wasn't
It's
4
fine.
months later.
Well,
I mean, this was. They didn't give it to me 4 months later.
Well, it took a while for that to come. I mean, it's not my fault. There was a. There we go. Little BG and the Big Timers. Thank you, Maura. I assume that was you and not Lyle. There's no way Lyle knows this song.
Lyle, you think the kids would like this? You think this would up my game with the kids?
Only if you start yelling it's personal like Dion does too. Get them to all sing it, like say it back with you. It's personal. It's personal. It's personal. It's personal.
All right. Well,
Okay, well, it is personal, Salk. So
clearly.
I'm gonna leave right now.
All
I'm
right.
going to go put on my Christmas gift.
Well, you do that. I've got 3 baseball conversations for us to have next before Blue 88. I was thinking if I wanted to end with a line from that song, Maura, but I don't know. The best line in that song is I pull up in the Expedition. Y'all be like, no, he didn't. I don't know if that one works, so we'll be right back.
Wyman and Bob, afternoons 2 to 7.
The release of the Seahawks schedule, you open at home with the Niners, you close the season on the road with the Niners.
You know what's interesting about that is just that where's San Francisco going to be? I'm just curious if they're going to be able to be that team that kind of has dominated. You know, those 2 games I think are going to be really interesting just to see where the Seahawks are. I think this year the tougher challenge might be the Rams.
Dave Wyman and Bob Stelton, afternoons 2 to 7 on Seattle Sports, the app, YouTube, and your smart speaker.
Are you guys ready for August? Because that's when the new hotel will open up at Snoqualmie Casino. Luxury awaits, and you can book now for an unforgettable summer experience. Go to snocasino.com. Yes, Seattle's closest is now Snoqualmie Casino and Hotel, and they are taking bookings for August. Breathtaking views of the Cascades and the beautiful Snoqualmie Valley, the expanded non-smoking gaming floor, the new destination spa, the huge entertainment space and convention center, new restaurants and food venues. It's going to be awesome, man. It all starts at snocasino.com. Seattle's closest is now Snoqualmie Casino and Hotel.
Hey, baseball fans, Rick Riz here. I'm excited to introduce you to my good friend Keith Dashafee, owner of Pella Windows and Doors of Western Washington. Keith?
Thanks, Rick. At Pella Windows and Doors, we pride ourselves on delivering top-quality windows and doors that enhance the beauty and energy efficiency of your home. Our products are built to last with innovative designs and exceptional craftsmanship. Whether you're looking to upgrade your windows or install new doors, Pella has you covered.
That's fantastic, Keith. Don't wait. Schedule your free appointment today at PellaPNW.com.
Warmer weather, more sunlight, and your new car. That's right. At Toyota of Kirkland and Toyota of Renton, summer starts here. With their combined inventory of new, used, and certified pre-owned inventory, you're in for a summer to remember. Their fantastic teams will set you up with a test drive so you can ride off into that summer sun the same day. Summer starts here at Toyota of Kirkland and Toyota of Renton. Whether you're in the north or the south, they got you covered. Visit their incredible showrooms today or online at toyotaofkirkland.com and toyotaofrenton.com.
O'Brien. Get 0% financing for 72 months on Cat Compact construction equipment at NC Machinery. built for performance, durability, and comfort. Buy now and take advantage of 0% financing for 72 months at NC Machinery.
Jaden Schwartz for Techline Roofing. The ice may have melted, but spring is the perfect time for a new roof. Call Techline Roofing. Take advantage of our easy financing and our spring special. That's TEKLINE roofing.com.
This is the story of the one. As a lineman, he does whatever it takes to keep the power on in his community. And he wants a partner like Grainger who does the same. Grainger offers the professional-grade products he needs, from voltage detectors to harnesses to hard hats, plus fast, dependable delivery, so he can rise to every challenge. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Did you know your skin is the largest organ of your body? Huh? That's why you should shower with Old Spice Super Hydration Body Wash instead of plain old bar soap. Love your skin by super hydrating it with vitamin B3 and glorious notes of vanilla and shea. Did you know that my super hydrated skin is the second largest organ of my body? The first is my heart. Old Spice. Men have skin too. Old Spice Super Hydration Body Wash. 24/7 renewing moisture. With daily use.
I'm attorney Rob Iddens, proud Marine Corps veteran and owner of Warrior Injury Law. We help all types of injury victims, like Alex. At just 16, she suffered trauma after a broadside collision with a delivery truck.
When I came in, they were so nice. They were just like, don't worry about anything. We'll take care of that. It's gonna be okay. Live your high school life. We got your back. And they did. I would recommend Rob because they have a passion for caring for people.
If you've been injured, call us at 253-WARRIOR. Warrior Injury Law. Battle tested.
We are Seattle Sports, the home of the Seahawks, Mariners, and everything Seattle sports.
Watch your favorite show live at seattlesports.com.
Are you trying to buy a new home, or are you a local real estate agent seeking financing for a client? We're all tired of dealing with banks, credit unions, and endless guidelines. Wouldn't it be nice to go back in time when we had common sense lending? Hi, I'm Scott Rureka, CEO of Legacy Group Capital based in Bellevue. We are one of the largest local private portfolio lenders in Washington. We've helped thousands of home buyers and real estate investors reach their financial goals by leveraging the Legacy Common Sense borrowing platform. What that means is we lend our own money, we make our own decisions. If your deal makes sense, we'll get it done. Whether you're purchasing a new piece of real estate or refinancing an existing loan, bridge loans, construction, or regular home loan, it doesn't have to be as difficult as banks and lenders make it. If you're trying to grow wealth through real estate acquisition, come talk to the experts in private lending.
Call 425-635-4700 or LegacyG.com. Legacy Group Capital, your common sense lender. LegacyG.com.
Hey folks, John Curley here. One of the best home comfort inventions of recent time, mini split systems. Now you can enjoy efficient heating and cooling while saving energy and reducing utility bills with personalized room comfort. Call my friends at Home Comfort Alliance for a free consultation, and for a limited time, get 18 months, same as cash financing on all qualified systems. For all your heating, cooling, plumbing, and electrical needs, call the comfort people. Home Comfort Alliance. Visit homecomfortalliance.com.
Dave Wyman joined by the mayor of the city of Lacey, Andy Ryder. Andy recently underwent successful treatment for prostate cancer. His treatment method? Swedish cyberknife. Andy, what would you say to anyone considering prostate cancer treatment?
I'm feeling very confident about my treatment with CyberKnife. I absolutely recommend it for anyone who has been diagnosed with prostate cancer.
Reach out to Swedish Cyberknife directly at swedish.org/cyberknifeprostate. Treat prostate cancer with Swedish Cyberknife.
This hour of the Brock and Salk Show is powered by Star Rentals, preferred supplier to the West's best contractors.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio, you're listening to Brock and Salk.
Weekdays 6 to 10
on Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
Oh, look, you put the Christmas present on. Look at that.
Look at that.
For those watching on YouTube and getting ready for Passan, I think, on YouTube on video here in an hour, Brock has the gift I gave him on for Christmas. Look at that. What do people think of that?
Yeah, what do you think? You like that?
I mean, I think 4 is a good-looking number on you.
Uh-huh. Like the little state champs, 87, 89, West Canaan High School.
Yep.
Down there in Texas.
Yes.
Uh-huh. And can you imagine if I lived down in Texas? My southern accent would be so good. So good.
I mean, you'd live there. You'd have to have a southern accent.
No, I don't think everybody that moves there all of a sudden, just can assimilate.
No?
Yeah. Lyle, you seen Varsity Blues? Lyle.
Maybe parts of it. I don't know.
Oh, that's sad.
Of all the sports movies, that's the one to see.
Playing football at West Canaan may have been the opportunity of your lifetime, but I don't want your life.
So for Christmas, I gave Brock a James Vanderbeek autographed Johnny Moxon football jersey, number 4, West Canaan, and he's just now wearing it today. Autographs on the back. Yep, you can see it right on the 4. It's autographed by James Vanderbeek, who unfortunately has cancer, and this is a fundraiser he was doing to raise money for cancer research. So I bought one. It took forever. It took like 5 months for it to come, which was unexpected. I guess James, I don't know. I'm not sure what happened. And I thought I'd been scammed. I thought I'd been duped. But ultimately, there it is. Brock's wearing, you know what? It looks pretty good on you.
I feel pretty good in it, actually. I think the blue, I don't know. I feel pretty good in it. I don't think I ever, other than this.
I'll give it a 10.
It's a 10.
Lyle needs to see this movie. That needs to be a homework assignment.
Yeah. Lyle, that should be your next movie. It's not very good, but you should see it.
If I was going to watch... If I was going to watch
inappropriate scenes,
that's true. You're gonna have
to,
there's some. There's a whipped cream bikini.
Yeah, and then you're gonna fast forward through a couple scenes.
If I was going to watch any sports-related movies or TV shows on Texas football, I'd watch Friday Night Lights, which is actually a good show.
This is not. This is sort of a dumb comedy.
It's very cheesy, but it's just you have to see it.
But he won't like it.
Have you guys watched Friday Night Lights?
Of course.
Okay.
Oh,
Yeah.
Booby, come on, man.
Both the movie and the show.
Yeah, the movie I actually think is just okay. The show's great.
Totally agree. The movie is good. The show is great, and I've watched both. Don't worry about that. But the movie does have the put booby in line, which is probably better than anything from the show.
Which I'm pretty sure, I don't know if this is confirmed, that must have been where Miles Sanders got his nickname, right?
I would think so.
Probably.
I would assume so.
By the way,
you
I'm
want to
looking
win?
at the weather.
Put booby
I'm
in.
looking at the weather today.
Doesn't look that bad?
No.
Everyone says it's going to be awful.
Really? There's going to be a bunch of storms through like 2 o'clock.
And then that's it?
And then just a couple scattered little thunderstorms. Yeah.
All right. Well, we'll see. We'll see how all this thing goes. I got a couple of Mariner topics for you, or at least baseball topics, Brock. Before we talk to Passan in an hour.
And by the way, do you tell everybody tomorrow, 9:30?
Yes, I did. I did tell the people. Yes.
Good. 9:30 tomorrow. Mike McDonald. And I hope he breaks some schedule news like Pete did, because I think there's a couple opportunities for scheduling purposes with the preseason.
Okay.
Because I'm a preseason hero. I love preseason.
You want to know like whether or not they're doing a little joint practice with anybody?
That would be with the Kansas City Chiefs.
It would have to be, right?
Yes. You don't do it before the 3rd preseason game.
So that would have to be Mahomes here for a week.
That's exactly right.
I mean, that'd be
Kelsey,
pretty cool.
Mahomes, you could see Taylor Swift. She'd come on the berm with you. Yeah, it'd be really, really good.
I mean, I gotta say, I would be a hero to my children. That would be kind of awesome. I'd sign up for that. Yeah, that sounds pretty cool, to be perfectly honest.
There you go.
All right, I got a Mariner question for you in just a couple of minutes. Let me start here. Do the White Sox need to exist in Chicago, Brock? I don't mean to be rude about this, but legitimate question. Does Chicago need 2 teams? The White Sox are fielding a team right now. Their 26-man active roster payroll is $43 million. The Mets have 6 times that laid out in payroll just for their active roster. $43 million, Brock. It's an average of $1.7 million per player. If you take away Robert, who makes $15 million, that would be $28 million left for 25 players. That's just barely over. It's like $1.1 million per player. That's nothing. They're literally spending about as little money as you could possibly spend. And, it's not just that they're young either. Like, the A's are young, but they're kind of young and feisty. This team's young and bad. They don't really have any big-time prospects in that lineup. The guys that are older are bad and have turned sour. They're just awful. And as I look at it last night, there didn't seem to be a tremendous amount of hope. And there's nobody in the stands, and it's dead, and they're literally playing at a park called Rate Field. What is that? What is rate? It used to be guaranteed rate. At least that's something you could go look up. How do you Google search rate? Hey, what's Rate Field all about? Oh, I don't know. Let me Google rate. What's rate? I mean, like, what?
Yeah, it's
That's
a problem.
Absurd.
It's just, and if you're if you're the league and you're the league office and you're watching this and you're right alongside them, Salk, as bad as they are, they're not 8-39.
No, I know. Colorado's a worse team,
8-39.
but at least Colorado is in Denver by themselves in a nice ballpark. Like, okay, they're bad owners and all that, but you're not going to move the Rockies because of it. I think there should be a legitimate conversation about whether or not Chicago needs a second team. It's other than New York and LA, there aren't really other cities that have second teams in anything other than Chicago in football, in baseball. And they don't have, I was giving them the benefit of the doubt earlier and saying they have 1/3 of the city. It's probably not. It's probably closer to a quarter. But let's say even they've got 1/3 of the city of 7.5 million people. That gives you a population roughly akin to Portland, a city that would like a team, to Vancouver, a city that would like a team. Or, quite frankly, it's like half of Montreal. Montreal's got 4.3 million people in that area. Mm-hmm. Why are the White Sox still playing there?
How about Savannah, the Savannah Banana?
Well,
they get a lot more than that. How about Savannah? What kind of market do we got?
I think that's a different type of thing.
Is it?
Others saying Texas. No, there's a team in Dallas and a team in Houston. They're not the same city. This is two teams in Chicago. And one of them is as popular and as successful as anybody in baseball, and the other is the opposite of that. And it's been that way for a while now. Yeah. I don't know. I don't want to be in the business of ripping, fans' hearts out by taking away their team. But when Oakland's moving and this is, to me, is a team that feels like it should be on the move much more so than some of the others.
Yeah. It's hard. It's a hard watch. I remember as a kid watching the Mariners go play the White Sox.
Mm-hmm.
They had kind of cool uniforms. Kind of had an old stadium that was unique and different and had some good players and just had life. They're just lifeless.
Totally lifeless.
It's just dead.
A couple people saying, well, what about San Francisco and Oakland? Okay, well, they no longer have two teams in anything. The A's are gone and the Raiders are gone.
Just Anaheim and the Dodgers, right? And the Mets and the Yankees.
Yeah.
Obviously, those are just ginormous markets.
New York and L.A. are essentially double the size of Chicago, and then San Francisco would be below that. So, yeah, it just, unfortunately, it's a sad situation to watch, and that team is really, really bad. But fun to take advantage of them, fun to take advantage of that lineup. Salk stopped. They won the World Series in 2004. No, they didn't. They won the World Series in 2005. Let's get that one correct. And they've been there for 125 years, and they've been pretty bad since then. It just, I don't know. Unfortunately, just watching it kind of makes me kind of ill. Lyle asked a question about whether or not it would be time to think about bringing up Harry Ford because he is really, really hitting. And, he's been in the minors now long enough. He's kind of, along with Cole Young, your closest to the big leagues prospect. He's crushing the ball. His May numbers are insane. Hitting .417 with an 11.18 OPS. He's dominating AAA pitching right now. Walking, 17.5% of the time. Striking out under 20. He's really doing everything you would possibly want him to do in AAA. So if you were to bring him up, what do you do? You're not going to have him play backup catcher only, right? That doesn't make a tremendous amount of sense to play him once every 5 days. You're not going to DH him because even though Dan says there's nothing wrong with Jorge Polanco, there's something wrong with Jorge Polanco, and you need him to DH and everything that he's doing, hitting against.
He's really cooled off. You look at his April and May OPS and all of his numbers, Salk. It is, this month of May has been what last year was.
Well, that wasn't going to keep up what he did in April.
No, I understand. But this month of May, if you're comparing just, and maybe he needs some time. Maybe he needs 10, 15, 20 days off to really heal whatever is going on with whether it's ab or knee or whatever.
Maybe. And maybe that's an opportunity to do that, and Harry can come up and take some of those at-bats. But, outside of playing first base, I guess, and, Rowdy's done a pretty good job at first. I don't know that there's like a great opportunity for him. He's not an outfielder. He's not a third baseman, really. It does become sort of a weird situation. And I guess the obvious answer would be, all right, well, Donovan Solano, right? We've talked through this 300 OPS and how it's just not tenable. Did you hear Ryan Rowland-Smith talking about him the other day and kind of going on about, and by the way, I think he's probably right, talking about how Solano, A, has been a huge part of the clubhouse leadership, and B, has had much better at bats here over the last week or two, essentially saying if you were to move on now, careful, because he might be about to find himself again based on some of the at-bats that he's had in the last couple of weeks.
Yeah. Yeah, and I also wonder, in kind of like our opening dialogue of motivation and stepping up and everything else, does this come into play at all, Salk? I don't know. Just genuinely asking, because we've not seen a situation like this where you got 9 top 100 prospects, where you got them really at every single level, from Modesto to Everett to Arkansas, and obviously what Cole and Harry are doing in Tacoma. Does it ever come into play, like organizationally, to be like, you got to reward these guys? Is there something, intrinsically or extrinsically, like, hey man, this is, we want to do these guys a solid. We want to play this freshman. If this freshman's ready to play, we're going to play this freshman. If this rookie is ready to play, if this 7th rounder, I don't care that he was a 7th rounder, he's better than, like, you see it in, I think, some other sports, some other games, some other levels. Is there anything, I'm going to ask Passan about this, but also,
I mean, I'm not saying there's none, but no, not really.
No,
I think a lot less so anyway in baseball than in other sports. I mean, because the jump is so great between AAA and the majors, and because you need to have a spot. Like, maybe it's helping his trade value. And by the way, if you bring him up to the majors, Lyle, I know you said, hey, maybe that helps his trade value. True, or maybe it hurts it, right? I mean, you don't know exactly what he does when he gets here. Maybe he comes up, lays an egg, and it doesn't help his trade value at all. I don't know. I'm kind of at a loss on this one. I don't have a good answer on what to do with Harry Ford.
I think it's a good problem to have, right? I mean, these are exactly the kind of problems you want to have.
Absolutely.
Where you're just, depth-wise and roster-wise and everything, looking at it like, man, just keep incubating down there. Keep doing your thing, Cole. Keep doing your thing, Harry. Keep doing your thing, all the kids in Everett. And, that bump up from A to AA is probably that step, right, of, hey, man, you're doing good. And doing
for those guys, yeah. But for Harry Ford, I don't know what it is.
Yeah, I think if you give it another few weeks, I think this sorts itself out. And that's kind of what I was getting at. I don't think Harry Ford's coming up tomorrow. But if you give him till mid-June, if Solano's still not hitting by then, I feel like it has to be even more on the table than it probably is now. Where you get to, though, is if you're the Mariners, you have to start letting Harry Ford play some other positions down in Tacoma, because they've been hard-pressed against that for a long time, to just continue to let him be a catcher only, which I get. But now after the Cal Raleigh extension, that really blocks things for Harry Ford even more than it already did. So now you're at a place of, look, he doesn't have to stop catching. You could have him in a role where maybe he catches once a week and he DHs once or twice a week, and either he plays the corner outfield or first base like we're throwing out here a couple times a week to have him just be versatile. But you're going to have to start letting him play some other positions, because he played 8 games in left field last year, and it didn't go that great.
No, I think everything you just said is accurate. You gotta explore all of that with the Cal extension, and again, like, yes, he'd probably be a better backup catcher right now than Garver in terms of the offense, but I don't know whether he's, Garver's a veteran. There is an element of us just having a backup veteran catcher that has some
and you're
merit.
His growth and development.
Yeah, you can't let him play once every 5 days. I mean, that doesn't make any sense.
Not at 22 years old.
But if he keeps hitting and keeps doing this, to your point, a hitting athletic catcher, is that valuable in Major League Baseball?
I would assume it's very, very valuable, yes. And then the Solano one, I'm still not, like, I guess it's hard to watch. But I would say that while you're winning and scoring, you can kind of afford to wait on the problem, if that makes sense.
Unlike the Pollocks and the Listellas and some of this, Colton had some pretty good juice. You do see that he is super engaged. You do see him in that clubhouse, or even in the dugout, right? I mean, you see him even through his adversity in the worst year of his professional career, and I think that's probably Hyphen's point. The dude is still there engaging and helping the young guys along as well.
So if you got to, there comes a time at which you probably can't continue to carry that on your roster, but now's not really that time. It's, end of May, and you're winning and you're hitting. So if you got to deal with it for a little bit longer, you got to deal with it. All right, Passan will be on to join us and talk more about this at 8:30. Right now, some Blue 88.
This is Brock and Salk's Blue 88.
Blue 88! Blue 88!
We take you to the field as Brock Ewart breaks down 3 football questions as only he can.
Now here's your hosts, Brock Ewart and Mike Salk.
It must be a May 20th Blue 88, because question number 1 is, Brock, what do we make of the preseason schedule?
What do we make of it? It is a home run. You're going to have a packed house for Pete Carroll. You're going to have a Mariners matinee that day. The juice is going to be off the charts in early August. I think it'll be an awesome opportunity for these young guys to communicate through noise and chaos, especially Eamon Horry and some of those guys. You know that Pete's also not one of these, like Sean McVay and Shanahan, that doesn't play his people. So you're going to get to see more than likely Gino and Ashton Genty and these guys for a series or two. So right out the gate, I think that's a home run. Number 2, as I mentioned earlier, the Chiefs are coming to town for preseason game number 2. You know what Andy Reid likes to do? Join practices. He's done them every single year, you know, where he has been. You know what Mike McDonald likes to do? Joint practices. So getting a joint practice with the, 3-time Super Bowl champ, Patrick Mahomes, Andy Reid, the whole show.
I like that.
All the hoopla, all the exposure, all the attention to that, all the NFL Network and all the eyes of everybody out in Seattle. That's great. And it's great, again, for your young players to handle all of that. And then you end in Green Bay. It's a really hard place to play. Granted, it's not going to be their starters or everything, but that's my favorite building in the NFL, my favorite stadium. Just incredible place. It'll be a packed house. They fill it up. Honestly, like you look at every turn and you can kind of write a script of that's going to be great setting. That's going to be a great setting. We're going to learn more about our people through this preseason schedule than we would if we played, I don't know, the Chargers and the Dolphins and, you know, the McVay, like the teams that don't play anybody. So I think there's some cool opportunity within this preseason.
All right, question number 2. Report yesterday, and I saw this through Field Goals, and I think it came via Tim Kawakami in San Francisco, that they may do an in-season NFC West Hard Knocks, which would give them some access to the Seahawks. Who benefits?
Yeah, I think 2 people benefit. I think Mike McDonald benefits. I think Devin Witherspoon benefits.
That was my guess, to say you were going to say Spoon.
Yeah. I mean, just by almost every metric you look out there, Salk and the PFF guys and everything else, the dude has been an extraordinary player. He is a live freaking wire. I mean, he is just a bundle of energy and juice and all of it. And there is no question that would express itself on that show. Pretty good platform. They like to find, as we do when we do UFL games or we have the opportunity to mic people up. Hey, who's your live wire? Who's the guy that we got to mic up? There's no question it's Devin Witherspoon. And then I think for Mike McDonald to just kind of let his wit and his humor and his personality and his smarts and all of those things just naturally show themselves, how he conducts those meetings, how he leads his staff meetings. I think you'd walk away from that going, man, this is a bright dude. I think it would really benefit both those guys to have that kind of exposure.
All right, question number 3. Well, I think you know I'm excited about this one, Brock.
Get aboard.
Brian Baldinger.
Get aboard,
he's
Salky.
right there with me on the Jalen Milroe train.
You know, in 2023, he didn't lose an SEC game at quarterback. And what he did to Georgia and LSU, just blistering him, yes, can his touch get better? Yeah, he still completed 64% of his passes. He can make that throw. And I think he will. But it's not going to surprise me at all if Seattle doesn't get him on the field in certain packages. Because this is what he's capable of doing. This is absurd. Nobody does this to LSU. Just get on the moving sidewalk and outrun the whole defense. You're talking about world-class athletes at LSU. He made them look like they were the JV, the junior varsity. And I love the prospects of Milroe.
Dude, I love you and Baldinger. Pilot, co-pilot.
Yeah.
On the train. He's wearing probably a XX Milroe jersey still. He's got that finger flying out the window. You've got, a medium? You medium?
Yeah, medium. Medium or large, depending on how it fits.
I already get you a Milroe number 6 jersey looking so good.
Broad. So wide, that number 6. Gross.
It would kind of probably not look good with your
rusty chest. No, I don't need a 6 on. No. Neither does he.
Baldy was watching film yesterday, and it was just fun. It kind of caught my attention. That's not from last month. That was from yesterday of him watching him play Georgia, watching him play LSU. And those are games, as you said, comp-wise, you got just a roster full of really fast guys. And he makes really fast guys look slow. Be curious if he can do the same here at this NFL level.
All right, pretty cool. That is today's Blue 88. And yes, tomorrow, Mike McDonald, Seahawks head coach, will join us at 9:30. Looking forward to catching up with him, and we can ask him about all this stuff and the schedule and joint practices, maybe, potentially, with Kansas City. All right, I'll be honest. The possibility of Taylor Swift coming here for joint practices is kind of awesome, right?
Yeah.
I'm into it. I'm just straight up, that would be fascinating. By all accounts, she's all around Kansas City. I've talked to some people that live there who say that she's like, you know, really nice person, and she shows up places, and she just kind of like lives there now. If she were to come with Travis and just kind of hang out for a couple of days and watch practice on the berm, like, why wouldn't she? It's beautiful, great spot. Sierra used to do it, so it's not like she'd be the first pop star out there.
Sarah came to the home ones, though.
Well, they'd be home here. That's true. Yeah. She didn't go on the road. That's fair. But still, like, don't you think it would be a cool opportunity?
I just don't want you to get your hopes up too much.
My hopes will be up. My hopes are just going to be up. I'm just going to let you know.
Football-wise, too, honestly.
Forget the football, Brock. This is about Taylor.
Salk, I'm not just going to forget about Mark Lowe.
Well, I think you should. Forget about the football. This is about Taylor Swift. There's some things are bigger than football, Brock. And this is one of them.
Kelsey, Mahomes, the Walrus, Andy Reid,
now,
all of them out there.
Flip side of this, would Jackson Mahomes be here? Would Brittany Mahomes be here? Because if the two of them are here, that might balance the whole thing out. Nobody wants to see them in any of our local restaurants or haunts or anything like that. But the thought of Taylor coming for a couple days, I think that'd make for a pretty interesting experience here in August. There she is. Hi, Taylor.
Yeah. You know, you had kind of a bad take about her, though, by the way.
I did?
Yeah, you went to the concert. You were so biased.
I think my take was great.
And you were like, she's going to go down as like the greatest ever.
I didn't say that.
You were just super caught up in the moment. There's no star ever like her, yada, yada, yada.
She connects with her audience, I think, better than any musician.
Yes. It feels like that connection not as strong these days.
Well, I think that depends.
Her world tour is over.
Right. Yeah, I don't think that's true
There's
at all.
There's a lot of attention on her because of that.
You think the Taylor Swift connection is as strong as ever?
Yes.
Okay. All right.
I don't think that's changed even a little bit.
I would disagree with that a little bit.
Based on what?
I mean, that's why we're here.
What are you basing that on?
Oh, I'm just basing that on Q rating, my own Q rating.
Your own Q rating.
Yeah, based on just, kind of what you see.
But as Maura just said, her tour's over. Like, that's done.
That may be part of it. That may be a huge part of it.
Well, that doesn't, that's just taking time off so that you don't overexpose yourself.
Sure, and
but
then
I don't.
Got kind of a little political, and anytime you get a little political.
Oh, I see. Fox News is telling you you're not supposed to like her anymore. No, it's fine. I get it. These things happen. Brock, sometimes people tell us. Sometimes people tell us we're not supposed to like them anymore, but I don't think it's changed your Q rating much at all. We're going to go around the NFL next on Brock and Salk.
Only Brock and Salk in Seattle sports go one-on-one with Raiders head coach Pete Carroll. Dude, that still sounds so weird.
Are you kidding me?
Good morning, Coach. How are you?
What's happening, fellas? Nice to see you.
Nice to see you, too. It's been a while. How are you?
I get it. Yeah. You haven't called me once. What are you talking about? Doing great. We're having a blast. The energy around this building is really familiar and really fun.
The whole conversation's on video. Watch it on YouTube or the Seattle Sports app.
It makes it easy.
Gia arrived at Lee Johnson after 10 years at another dealership.
You know your job, but then you have people who you can rely on to help you with the big stuff that, you need that support from. And I've gotten that every day with my service manager, with our assistant service manager, with even like our GM and our GSM. The way that, we're now on the showroom together, we are so close-knit just as a department. My service manager here, he's always open to teach you whatever you want to know. He just wants everybody to do good around him, and if somebody wants to learn something, I'm here to do it. And I've never had a service manager like that before. They're really good at promoting from within. That's one thing that I've learned from working here is I see people start out as a lot porter, and people work their way all the way up to being a general manager.
The LJ way is the Lee Johnson Auto family.
You never get a second chance to make a first impression. Superior Linen Service. 98 years providing logoed apparel, uniforms, floor mats, linens, and more. Give us a call. We answer the phone. Superior Linen Service. Visit suplinen.com.
Lake Washington Windows and Doors makes it easy to enjoy new windows with clean glass technology now and defer paying for them until 2026 with 0 down, 0 payments, and 0 interest for 12 months. Visit lakewashingtonwindows.com.
When the heat's in 11, cool AC would be heaven.
Dayandnight.net.
Beat the rush. Act now before summer, because that heat's a real bummer.
Dayandnight.net.
Even though our Northwest summers can be spectacular, there's always a long, hot stretch that makes everyone say, man, AC sure would be nice. Well, except for that one annoying friend who won't stop talking about how great his AC is. Hi, I'm Bruce with Day and Night Plumbing and Heating. You can stay comfortably cool when those hot temps arrive. This is the time to plan ahead and call us about installing a high-efficiency AC or heat pump. Or if you have an existing system, we'll come and service it. Make sure it's running efficiently and ready to cool when you need it.
Before the summer heat wave, keep your house cool and save.
Dayandnight.net.
Save up to $6,000 on qualifying cooling equipment, plus no payments or interest for a year OAC. Don't sweat it out this summer. Stay cool with Day and Night.
Dayandnight.net.
Washington is leading the way in car theft reduction. Car theft dropped by 32% from 2023 to 2024 in our state, but there's still work to be done. Help keep your car safe with these simple and important tips. Don't leave your car running unattended. Park in well-lit areas. Lock up every time. Keep valuables out of sight. Use an anti-theft device like a steering wheel lock. Prevent the theft and keep you and your vehicle safe. These tips are brought to you by the Washington Auto Theft Prevention Authority.
I'm attorney Rob Iddens, proud Marine Corps veteran and owner of Warrior Injury Law. We help all types of injury victims like Sean, who was rear-ended in a car accident.
They're just easy to work with. They're fast. I like the fact that he had military service. I can see a lot of Marine in Rob. He's very in charge, really gets things done. But I didn't have to do anything. He offered me a settlement, had a number in my head, was nearly double that. I would refer absolutely anybody to Rob.
If you've been injured, call us at 253-WARRIOR. Warrior Injury Law. Battle tested.
Ladies!
Comcast Business is celebrating Small Business Month by giving you a $1,000 small business bonus when you switch to a qualifying gig speed package from the company with over 99.99% network reliability. Just imagine the thousands of possibilities of a $1,000 prepaid card. Like possibility number 1, company merch for staff. Styling. Or possibility number 24, the latest software. Upgrade. Or possibility number 192, new equipment powered by gig speeds. Or possibility number 555, a 3D printer. Rapid prototyping, anyone? Switch to Comcast Business for over 99.99% network reliability, advanced cybersecurity, and now get started with a $1,000 small business bonus. Comcast Business, powering possibilities.
And 6/22/25. New customers only with 2-year agreement. Other restrictions apply.
Feeling lucky? Don't miss the Lucky Classic Collector Car Truck and Boat Auction, Saturday, May 31st at Tacoma's LeMay Marymount Event Center. Hundreds of cars, vintage, muscle, exotic, classics, trucks, boats, and more. Saturday, May 31st at Tacoma's LeMay Marymount Event Center. Millions of dollars in inventory, many must sell with no reserve whatsoever. Get lucky, get local, and get in line for the Northwest's greatest collector car auction. Auction details at luckyoldcar.com.
Let's go!
This is Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app.
KIRO AM Seattle. KIRO FM HD2 Tacoma. Home of the Seahawks, Mariners, and everything Seattle sports.
Give me a freaking auto!
From the Quantum Fiber Studio, this is Brock and Salk on Seattle Sports.
I don't read the internet, guys.
Take the bull by the hands.
And Brooke, you are. And Brooke, you are.
Now here are your hosts, Brock Eward and Mike Salk.
All right, we don't have a lot of time, so I want to get right into this. Jeff Passan joins us at 8:30, but Maura has a whole bunch of good around the NFL items for us. Maura, what do we got today in around the NFL?
Well, after there was speculation that Eagles coach Nick Sirianni could be on the hot seat heading into 2024, and then even some rumors last year that he and Jalen Hurts didn't see eye to eye, you know what? I guess winning a Super Bowl quickly dissipates any lingering questions because the Eagles signed him to a multi-year extension yesterday. The terms haven't been disclosed yet, but he's sitting pretty over there, and this is what Tim Hasselbeck had to say about it on ESPN.
Obviously, Howie Roseman has done an excellent job with the personnel in Philadelphia. There's been coordinator change. He's done an excellent job of, with some hiccups, managing through that. And so I think when you do that, you give yourself a chance to be successful as a head coach. He's done that. And you think about what he's accomplished. Just to be very fair to Nick Sirianni, Andy Reid was an amazing coach in Philadelphia. Was never able to win a Super Bowl. Nick Sirianni has been able to do that. And so I think when you put it kind of through that lens, the reward of this contract and also the expectation that He's got an opportunity to continue there in Philadelphia, where it is not easy to please people. He's done an excellent job.
Do you think that it takes a unique personality to manage that, or to, in this case, coach there?
I think so.
You think he's got that?
Yeah, and I think his greatest strength has been delegating. And like, oh, you want to bring Vic Fangio in to be the D coordinator? There'd be a lot of young head coaches that'd be threatened by that. And I think his ability to not be threatened by that, not micromanage. Now, I did just look up their OC because Kellen Moore left. And it's not very often that I have no idea. I've never heard this name before. Kevin Petullo.
Kevin Petullo?
Like usually, yeah, Kevin Petullo.
Don't know that name either.
Yeah, I don't either. I mean,
do you know Sirianni at all?
I don't know him.
Okay.
Nope, he was a young guy that got right into the NFL. I don't think he had much college seasoning.
I just wasn't sure if you ran into him anywhere.
But he just kind of strikes me, and I'll tell you what else he seems to be is pretty authentic. If you're not authentic, you're not going to make it in that market.
No chance.
No chance.
All right, just
Oh, go ahead.
we're kind of matching now, Brock. We're both blue today.
Nice.
Just 3 days after signing Brock Purdy to a 5-year,
Pop the
200.
pecs there.
Oh my gosh.
We're matching. Everybody look at me on video, and then Brock pops the pecs.
No, I was just looking at my blue. Now I'm popping the pecs.
Now you're kind of
boy.
popping the pecs.
Show off.
There we go.
Just 3 days after
They're so
signing
little,
Brock
too.
Purdy to a 5-year, $265 million deal, the 49ers have now signed linebacker Fred Warner to a 3-year, $63 million extension. Adam Schefter says the rework deal also returns Warner to the top of the list of highest paid off-ball linebackers in the league at $21 million per season, and it added $56 million in guaranteed money, which he didn't have any more of.
You think Coach K gets any commission on that? What do you think Coach K thinks about him making $21 million per?
Took me a second. Honestly, it's been long enough since we've made that reference that I had to think for a second about who Coach K was. But that, of course, KJ Wright. He's Coach K. Just call him Coach K. So are the Niners just going to have two players? Like, what are they going to do?
I think they're doing what Philadelphia's done. I've got to chat with Mr. Snyder or somebody about this. How some of these teams, and Philly and San Francisco in particular, are doing this. And Brady has talked about the difference between cash and cap, right? We all think it's just the same, like it's all the cap, but it's some of these cash outlays and how they're able to do it and how much cash, straight cash, they just spend. And then they just manipulate the cap after the fact. And those two are seemingly doing it as much as anybody. Honestly, like think about it. They got Trent Williams, they got George Kittle, they just signed.
Clearly,
they got
but
Fred Warner, they got
it
Brock
still
Purdy, they
has
got
to have
Brandon Ayuk.
some effect, right? I mean, like, you can't have everybody. It's got to have some effect. And when you're paying your quarterback as much as they are and paying an older tight end and an older linebacker, I mean, I got to imagine that starts to have an effect, especially if some of those older players start to break down because they're older. And that's not like, totally unforeseen. So, yeah, I'm hoping this is a good thing for the Seahawks, but obviously, we'll wait and find out.
I don't know if you recall, I think, Lyle, did you win Trash Takes with the Colorado football fan who was suing the NFL?
Yeah, I think so.
Well, we have an update on that.
Salk sent to us.
The Colorado fan who's suing, yes, that was it.
That sounds like someone who's salty that he never wins Trash Takes.
I know, it's been 3 weeks for me, yes.
The Colorado football fan who's suing the NFL, and as a John Doe, so we don't know his identity, claiming emotional distress and trauma due to Shedeur Sanders' slide in the draft. He's now filed an emergency motion for, I don't understand how this is like proceeding.
It's an emergency.
For early and targeted discovery. So some of the things that he's requesting are emails and text messages between a broad range of team and league officials, scouting reports, internal assessments, draft boards, and interview notes used by teams, audio and video recordings of team meetings, draft room communications, combine sessions, and communications with third-party media outlets regarding the public portrayal and narrative.
I appreciate the chutzpah. Like, good on him. Like, if you're going to do it big.
He's obviously either familiar with the legal system or has, like, a good lawyer. The fact that it's even proceeded this far, but I can't imagine it going anywhere.
Yeah. John Doe's name is Lyle Allen Goldstein. What is your middle name, Lyle?
It's Taylor.
LT. We have an LT.
Your middle name is Taylor?
Yeah, why?
No. Surprising.
I didn't
why
pick
you
it.
say it like that, Saul?
Sounded a little judgmental.
Yeah.
Well,
Salk loves Lawrence Taylor, and he doesn't think anyone else can be LT.
No, it's not that. No. It doesn't fit that well with Goldstein. It's a surprise. Not that it's a bad name. It's a great name.
I bet Lyle's parents hate you.
No. It's just a surprise.
It's always something.
It's a surprise that it goes with Goldstein. That's all.
What do your parents think of Salk and I, Lyle?
They like you guys.
Are you sure?
So he says now on the air. Who do they like more?
They think we're kind of hard on you.
You know what? That question, Salk's question, I haven't asked.
Who do they like more? Let's get an answer to that.
All right.
Yeah. Who do they like more? What's my middle name? Jeffrey.
Oh, that's right.
My brother's middle name's Michael.
MJ.
Is that better?
Yes. Makes much more sense. Again, it's not better. This is not a better or worse situation. Taylor's a lovely name. I'm not cracking on the name. It's a lot of Taylor conversation here in the last half hour. Hopefully this won't get as heated as the last one did.
I think in shocking fashion, I do think I hear my mom talk more about all the grief I get on the show than my dad. Like, my dad usually just laughs along.
Well, I would hope so. Yeah. But that makes sense. I mean, that's not a huge surprise. Brock's mom occasionally won't like him getting grief on this show.
One more.
I think we're done. Is that it?
Oh, that's it.
Unless you guys want to hear Vrabel.
I do, but maybe we can put him in with Belichick later because we're going to do some Belichick stuff later. Maybe we'll stick Vrabel in there with Belichick a little bit later in the show. All right. Jeff Passan coming up in 20. Lots of baseball talk to come. And let's see. You want to hear Luis Castillo dominate? You will. Next on Brock and Salk.
For Down Territory, going inside the game with former Cougs and Seahawks wide receiver Michael Bumpus.
I like this question. What team is making you an even bigger hater? You're getting even better at being a hater.
And they make it easy.
Yeah.
The Dane Cowboys.
Yeah.
They got 6 primetime games.
Mm-hmm.
6 primetime games.
Of course they did.
And they're going to be a barely over 500 team. But here's the thing. The Cowboys are going to be on primetime, and everybody's going to watch.
For Down Territory, every day at 11:15 and 1:15 on Bump and Stacy.
On your to-do list, Salk and I were talking about our to-do list just this week. On your to-do list is one of your things trying to put some of your finances in order. Is one of your things trying to figure out, do I got the right insurance? Are you just assuming that your insurance is doing right by you? Well, if you are, you're probably like Molly and I, my parents, a lot of my friends that needed to take the First Mark Insurance Challenge. We decided to take this because we had heard so many First Mark Challenge victories, and boy, am I glad we did. It has not only saved us a bunch of money over the last couple of years with our insurance, we now know exactly what we've got covered. Here's how First Mark works for you. They fully analyze your current coverage, making sure you're not overpaying for the wrong coverage. Then, well, unlike you and me, they go to the market. Dozens of major carriers to find you the best fit. That is it. There is no stress. There is no confusion. They're your teammate. And they spent the last 30 years helping thousands of families successfully manage the complicated world of insurance. So don't wait a Tuesday morning longer. Take the First Mark Challenge. And did I mention it's totally free? And you might be the next First Mark Challenge victory. Just go to firstmarkinsurance.com. Firstmarkinsurance.com. Your teammate that goes to work for you.
If you're 55 and up, T-Mobile has plans built just for you. 2 lines of unlimited for just $30 a line. That's a 45% savings compared to Verizon and AT&T. But don't just take our word for it.
It's not just the savings that are great with our T-Mobile plan. There's all this value from all these other things that T-Mobile offers.
T-Mobile has been such a savings for us.
We love it. Switch today and get 2 free 5G phones like the Motorola Edge with Turbo Power charging that gives you power for the day in just 15 minutes. And customers 55 and up can get 2 lines of talk, text, and data for only $30 a line. Go to T-Mobile.com/55 to learn more. With 24 monthly bill credits and 2 new lines with autopay for well-qualified customers plus taxes, fees, and $35 per line connection charge. Credits end and balance due if you pay off early or cancel. Contact us plus $5 per line without autopay. Debit or bank account required. 45% off 2 lines versus AT&T Starter and Verizon Welcome. Plan benefits vary. See details at T-Mobile.com. Motorola Edge requires 68-watt charger. Chargers sold separately. Actual performance will vary based on usage and configuration.
At O'Neill Plumbing, we've been exclusively plumbers for over 100 years. No corny mascots, no out-of-town owners. Just clean, fast, and professional plumbers out to your home fast. All rooter and all trenchless. O'Neill Plumbing.
At Cressy Door, we have the perfect garage door for you. Come visit our brand new garage door and fireplace showroom and let our experts help you find the perfect garage door. Cressy Door.
If you're 55 and up, T-Mobile has plans built just for you. 2 lines of unlimited for just $30 a line. That's a 45% savings compared to Verizon and AT&T. But don't just take our word for it.
It's not just the savings that are great with our T-Mobile plan. There's all this value from all these other things that T-Mobile offers.
T-Mobile has been such a savings for us.
We love it.
Switch today and get 2 free 5G phones like the Motorola Edge with turbo power charging that gives you power for the day in just 15 minutes. And customers 55 and up can get 2 lines of talk, text, and data for only $30 a line. Go to T-Mobile.com/55 to learn more.
With 24 monthly bill credits and 2 new lines with autopay for well-qualified customers plus taxless fees and $35 per line connection charge. Credits end and balance due if you pay off early or cancel. Contact us plus $5 per line without autopay. Debit or bank account required. 45% off 2 lines versus AT&T Starter and Verizon Welcome. Plan benefits vary. See details at T-Mobile.com. Motorola Edge requires 68-watt charger. Charger sold separately. Actual performance will vary based on usage and configuration.
Subscribe to the Seattle Sports YouTube page to find new and exclusive content from your favorite shows and personalities daily. Just head to YouTube, search Seattle Sports, and click subscribe.
Need a new roof but not in the budget? A new roof doesn't have to break the bank. Justin Shirley, CEO of State Roofing and Exteriors here. Right now, State Roofing and Exteriors is offering 0 down, 0 payments, and 0 interest for up to 24 months. That's 2 years with no payments while getting the protection your home deserves. But this offer won't last forever. Call 866-ROOF-ROOF or visit stateroofing.com today to get on our summer schedule now. State Roofing and Exteriors, held to a higher standard since 1968.
1877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Donate today at carsforkids.org. That's cars with a K. Your car can be picked up as soon as the next day. Receive a tax deduction and vacation voucher.
1877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Now accepting donations of land, homes, buildings, or any kind of real estate.
Warmer weather, more sunlight, and your new car. That's right. At Toyota of Kirkland and Toyota of Renton, summer starts here. With their combined inventory of new, used, and certified pre-owned inventory, you're in for a summer to remember. Their fantastic teams will set you up with a test drive so you can ride off into that summer sun the same day. Summer starts here at Toyota of Kirkland and Toyota of Renton. Whether you're in the north or the south, they got you covered. Visit their incredible showrooms today or online at toyotaofkirkland.com and toyotaofrenton.com.
We know finding a company to trust with your home is a big decision and one we look forward to earning with incredible service, top quality products, and lifetime warranties. Adrian here, owner of Lake Washington Windows and Doors. Our windows are feature-rich with our sound package that reduces noise by 50%, clean glass technology, and added protection with our exclusive First Guard 3-layer security glass. Learn more about all of these features at lakewashingtonwindows.com. Lake Washington Windows and Doors, a name you can trust.
Need to know.
15 minutes past every hour with Brock and Salk.
Here's what you need to know. Up first.
Nice
that
win,
text toy smells us out, man.
It does.
Yeah, that text toy, you can't hide from it.
Why? What is it saying?
It smells out every little innuendo from you and I.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Taylor, interesting.
Well, the 425 says Lyle's parents play darts with Salk's face taped to the board.
No!
No
Why?
chance. No chance.
No, I don't believe that at all. I'm betting that Lyle's parents like me more than Brock.
Yeah, I bet Lyle's mom likes Salk more than me.
Yes, I would agree with that. That's probably true. Dad's probably split, doesn't care.
Yep.
I would guess that Lyle's mom prefers me to Brock. Just a guess. I don't know.
A little harsher on him, yeah.
I'm just going to guess.
And what about Big Brother? Big Brother be interesting.
No, I don't have a
He's
big
a
brother.
baseball guy, or little brother.
Yeah.
If little brother's like a baseball guy like Lyle, then he probably likes you. So you probably win 2-1.
I think so. I think that's right. I think, Lyle, please take a poll and get back to us and let us know who's more popular in the Goldstein family, Brock or Salk. It's the kind of thing that's important around here. Mariners, man, they just win again, 4 straight now on the road. They have been road warriors, man. Put them on the road,
in baseball.
And they are just tremendous away from this building. I thought the story, Julio hit the grand slam, which was great, but the story yesterday was Luis Castillo. 7 shutout innings. He was phenomenal.
Here's the 0-2. Swung on him, Nasty. Blows it by him. 96 letter high. He swings through. That's the 5th strikeout for Castillo. He's retired 9 in a row.
He was awesome. And I do want to ask Passan about it. He's throwing a 96, 97 mile an hour fastball. That's 4-seamer speed, but it's moving like a 2-seamer. What is it? I asked earlier, is it a three-seamer? What is he doing that allows him to do that? Because that is not something I remember from him.
What kind of wiffle ball did you play with growing up?
I was not a huge wiffle ball guy.
You're not
I
a
know
big
you
wiffle
talk
ball
about
guy?
it all the time.
Oh,
I mean, we would play with the one that had the the holes on one side.
On one side or
Yeah.
the top? Yeah. Honestly, yesterday, 22 inches of run. It looked like a wiffle ball.
At 96 miles an hour.
That's right. Like it just nearly broke the guy's hands. It was just insane. I think even Luis looked at it and like, wow, that was wild.
Yeah. And he was
How'd that
pitching
do
to a
that?
lot. I mean, there's only 5 strikeouts, so there's a lot of contact made. And, again, when Luis has that two-seamer working, I think it is a great weapon for him to get deep into games. Julio loves playing behind him.
It's awesome, I just feel like for the whole rhythm of the game overall, and just to keep us engaged, I think that's a big part of it. And I feel really good for him just to kind of watch him settle in and just kind of go after it.
Yeah, it was last Tuesday with Passan that we kind of echoed some concern, and just the velo was down and the numbers were down, and could that come back? And then the last 2 starts have been absolute nails for him. I guess the only constant in baseball, Salk, is change. I remember early in the year. I mean, and this is not like this is all of us. Like the minute you think, well, and I think you even wrote a piece on the difference between the home and away. And, these guys home and away. And if we looked at this kind of all wrong with some of the numbers, and then all they've done is going to San Diego and Chicago, obviously bad team, but 4 runs in 4 games?
Yeah, I mean, no, to
On the
be
road?
fair, San Diego's also a pitcher's park, and Chicago's a pitcher's park. So, I mean, they're not quite as extreme as Seattle is. But, hey, if you're going to win 4 games by a 20-4 aggregate, that's probably going to be a pretty good deal. It looks like Casey Lawrence is scheduled to start tonight. Maybe it'll get rained out. Maybe that wouldn't be a bad thing. We'll see how this goes as you kind of wait for George Kirby to return here in Houston.
Here's the second thing you need to know.
Brock loves the Seahawks preseason schedule, and I see why. I mean, honestly, Brock, you did convince me. Raiders Thursday night, fun with Pete Carroll here, 7 o'clock kick. Kansas City in the middle game here, which means that's an opportunity for joint practices. And so, yeah, my hopes are up that we're going to see, obviously, Patrick Mahomes and the rest of the Chiefs, but also I'm now banking on Taylor Swift coming here during that time. And then what else do you have to do? And then you finish up at Green Bay on Saturday at 1 o'clock. That sounds like a great schedule.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, they should all be lively affairs and lively stadiums and loud stadiums and the stuff that actually football-wise does matter to see Jalen Milroe handle those different environments, to watch the joint practices. Andy Reid is old school, man. He is as old school as Mike Tomlin and, as old school as anybody in the league. And he practices, and they practice hard. And, yeah, he has been a guy that's done a lot of joint practices. So, and to get a chance to see Patrick Mahomes at your place. And
that'd be great.
Travis Kelce and all the rest of the guys.
That's
and
pretty
just
cool.
Compete against that group that plays at that level. Yeah, man, I think honestly, not to make a mountain out of a little preseason molehill schedule, but this thing's about as favorable as it could possibly
That's pretty
be.
cool. I'm with you on that. It does sound like later today the tush push will pass. Here's Adam Schefter.
But I think that the league feels like it's acting proactively to get rid of the tush push before anybody gets hurt on that play. And I know the Eagles have been lobbying teams, and they've been doing this for weeks and months to try to keep the rule. And I know you're going to need 24 votes, and I don't know where those votes are going to come from today, but if Roger Goodell is as against this play as I believe he is, then somehow, some way, I believe that Roger Goodell will find a way to come up with 24 votes to prevent the tush push from happening, and we probably will have seen the last of that play.
It's kind of too bad. This is dumb.
I've gone back and forth on this, and I initially was like, it's just not a part of, it's not a football play. But I think there's ways to be in between instead of just banning the whole thing. Just nobody can line up immediately behind and immediately push. If they need to come over from the running back spot or, just be offset or what have you. And then I know it gets gray because what about emotion? It can emotion them. And then I don't know. I think once you start dictating rules like this because someone's so good at something.
Right, it just doesn't feel right, man. I'm sorry.
It's an old school slippery.
Yeah, it feels very lame. I got to tell you, it feels very lame.
Here's the third thing you need to know.
Storm win last night down in Dallas. Dallas is 0-2. The Storm now 1-1 as they win by 8. NHL playoffs back tonight. Game 1 of the Eastern Conference Finals. Carolina and Florida. Then tomorrow will be Dallas and Edmonton. And as I said, I do think Toronto losing should break up in some way that core 4 nucleus in Toronto. We talked about them last year and whether or not you could pry somebody out of there. Well, now Mitch Marner, I mean, he's really the one, is a free agent. I have not seen one note anywhere connecting him to Seattle.
I was just looking at. I just got an email.
Okay,
and yeah, they're not. They're like 25-1.
Yeah,
they're like 15th on the list.
Maybe he doesn't want to go to a team that doesn't have a coach. Maybe, just a guess. I don't know. Maybe. It seems like that's a possibility. It's too bad. It'd be awesome to have Mitch Marner here. That would totally change the deal. That's everything you need to know. 1/4 every hour here on the Brock and Salk Show.
And then what did G just come in the backup studio saying about the NBA?
Oh, he said the NBA playoffs are still going on too, which was crazy. I didn't even realize that.
OKC, Salk.
Yeah. That's crazy. G came in. This is a legitimate thing that happened. G came in talking about how it's the first time since the 90s that the Western Conference playoffs, Western Conference Finals, haven't been in either Dallas or California. Or California or Texas. And I was like, well, the Stars are in it. He was like, I'm in the NBA. It's like, oh, it didn't even dawn on me that that's. To be fair, Brock was talking about Mitch Marner at the time, so I was a little confused. Distracted. All right,
I'd like you and Passan to mix it up.
Well, you said that last time. I don't respond to that.
It took the very end of the show last time.
I don't respond to that. I don't fight on command. That's just not how I do. You should know that about me by now. True. That's just. There's no better way to get me to not do that than to say something like that. My God.
Weird contrarian.
Well, no, just I'm not gonna dance on a string like a puppet. That's
and we
just
think
not
we're
who I
getting
am.
Passan on YouTube. On
Did we send them the link?
Yes.
All right, then we're getting Passan on video. That's the plan. Okay. Next on Brock and Salk.
Wyman and Bob, afternoons 2 to 7.
The release of the Seahawks schedule, you open at home with the Niners, you close the season on the road with the Niners.
You know what's interesting about that is just that where's San Francisco going to be? I'm just curious if they're going to be able to be that team that kind of has dominated. You know, those 2 games I think are going to be really interesting just to see where the Seahawks are. I think this year the tougher challenge might be the Rams.
Dave Wyman and Bob Stelton, afternoons 2 to 7 on Seattle Sports, the app, YouTube, and your smart speaker.
Hey, Mike Salk here. Let's talk about $1,000 and getting it back into your pocket thanks to Riverside Roofing. They are offering $1,000 off a new roof replacement, which is a huge incentive for any homeowner to book a roof replacement right now. It's a good time to do it. Long days, 8 o'clock, even later than that, almost 9 o'clock sunsets, and the crews can get your roof done super quick. Take advantage now before the summer when demand really starts to spike. So to claim that $1,000 off from Riverside Roofing, just book a free estimate from their website. That's riversideroofingllc.com. And you'll meet with Brandon. He'll come out. That's Don's son. And just tell him you heard the message on the radio. And he'll know that you heard it here on this station, and he'll give you $1,000 back in your pocket and a brand new roof over your head. And then ask him about all of the local experience, 35 years worth, being GAF Master Elite certified. Ask about the catch-all system, which will keep your yard and driveway totally free of debris like nails or shingles. It's all at riversideroofingllc.com, and they are the roofing company you can trust.
When might you be buzzed? When you suddenly love everything.
You guys! I love this song! I love these nachos. I love our kickball league! Ugh! I love this guy! What's your name? You know what I'd love? A ride when it's time to head out.
If you see a buzzed warning sign, call for a ride when it's time to go home. Buzz driving is drunk driving. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
I love your car. Is this real leather?
It's Clean Car Month. Right now, get the Pro X1 Car Care Collection Wash Kit for just $19.99, exclusively at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Go from daydreamer to industry leader with Amazon Business. From office supplies to IT essentials, Amazon Business provides tools that help you save costs and make insight-based decisions. Learn how to bring your visions to life at AmazonBusiness.com.
We've all been there, sleepless nights, wondering if your business's security service is really protecting what matters. At Bay Alarm, we can put your security insecurities to bed. Our advanced technology and personalized support ensure you can rest easy knowing we're here for you. BayAlarm.com.
Upgrade your home cooling before the summer heat with Home Comfort Alliance and save up to $6,000 while taking 18 months to pay with 0 interest. Visit HomeComfortAlliance.com. That's HomeComfortAlliance.com.
Does your building company have a strong website? One with a solid organic search presence, engaging prospects, and filling your pipeline? You know, a site that speaks loud about your company. I'm Rusty George. My local agency specializes in creating websites and marketing strategies for building companies, including construction, manufacturing, and material suppliers. We develop strategies and tactics to attract and win more quality business. See how we can help your business get louder at rustygeorge.com. That's rustygeorge.com.
Synthetic Turf Northwest is now open in Fife, the South Sound headquarters for premium synthetic turf. They help homeowners with a turnkey solution, DIYers, and contractors and landscapers needing quality products. With premium turf in stock, expert advice, and pro installation services, everything you need is under one roof. Visit their new showroom off I-5 in Fife. Synthetic Turf Northwest. Supplies and installation expertise all in one place. Mention radio for up to $1,000 off. SyntheticTurfNorthwest.com.
For Down Territory, going inside the game with Michael Bumpus.
I like this. More quarterbacks should start doing this.
Every day at 11:15 and 1:15 on Bump and Stacy.
LeeJohnson.com is a dynamic research tool.
We want to give the customer enough information to where they don't have to go anywhere else to research any of the questions they have. And if they want more information, we'd love to be there to help. We don't want them to feel like they're dependent on emailing us or texting us or calling us just to get the information they need. So we put it all out there. We call them digital retailing tools, big fancy calculators where you can get in there and change the terms and change the payments and change the cash down. And it'll give you a disclosure of, hey, when you do this, this means here. And a consumer can get on there and do a lot of this themselves. And then if they choose to get us involved, we can actually get involved on the backside of it and help them along the way. We want to give the consumer the same tools that we have and let them understand what we understand.
Yup, that's pretty much what you'd expect. The LJ Way is the Lee Johnson Auto family.
Was drafted in 1999 by the Philadelphia 76ers, and that was just absolutely a dream come true.
Todd's playing in the NBA is unique. His battle with neuropathy is not.
I first started noticing problems a couple years into my NBA career, and I felt like my sock was just balled up right in the arch of my foot, and there'd be areas of burning and tingling, and then there'd be other areas of deadness where there would be no response to touch. We tried everything possible, from surgery to different drugs, to try and take care of some of the symptoms.
I'm Dr. Mark Shelley, a chiropractic physician and board-certified functional neurologist at Sound Pain Solutions. Our neuropathy treatments can rehabilitate damaged nerves. We use FDA-cleared, non-surgical, non-drug, pain-free procedures that have helped thousands of neuropathy sufferers find relief.
Now I'm able to spend more time doing the things that I enjoy, being on my feet.
If you experience numbness, shooting, or burning pains, or loss of balance, call us. Sound Pain Solutions, 855-996-0025, or click soundpainsolutions.com.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio,
This is Brock and Salk
weekdays 6 to 10.
on Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
Must be time for another conversation with our friend Jeff Passan. And if you're watching on YouTube or on the app, oh, well, we got a close-up shot. There's Jeff. Good morning, sir. How are you?
Gentlemen, how are you?
We're doing great. It's been this Mariner ride is bizarre, right? You sit here, you watch them at home last week. They lose 5 of 6. Then they go on the road and just sweep the Padres and win again last night. They've outscored their opponents 20-4 in the last 4 games here on the road. I don't even really know what the question is in there, but other than just to say, baseball, man, it's amazing. Wait a week and everything changes.
Yeah, I think that what we're seeing now is a version of how good the Mariners can be. And the really exciting part is that George Kirby's coming back, and that Logan Gilbert's coming back, and that Bryce Miller's going to come back, and that all of a sudden this team that looks like arguably the second best team in the American League. I mean, you can go with them or the Yankees, but I think everyone's behind Detroit right now. But arguably the second best team in the American League as it stands right now is going to be adding 2 Cy Young caliber pitchers, as well as a third starter who's got that potentially in his future. It's really exciting, and it should be. Like, people should be excited about what this Mariners team is right now, because I think they are playing like what we thought the best version of them could or would be.
We've been doing this now, Jeffrey, for a bunch of years and love it every single Tuesday during baseball season. As we sit here, and I know we're not even to Memorial Day yet, but you make the points about what's coming. We can look at the farm system. You've raved about them in the past. Does this feel like the most complete Mariner organization that we've talked about in all these years with you?
Oh, unquestionably. And, you know, I still look at the offense and I, like, my instinct is they're not this good, but all of the underlying numbers make me think that this is real and that there's something substantive here. And I think it begins with Cal Raleigh. The fact that he is turning into not just like a great all-around player, but a true offensive weapon, a guy who is near the top of the league in home runs, and also is walking a bunch. And like I don't know, the offense is just really good right now. Randy Arozarena's arrival, it's weird to think, because, you know, when we think of Randy Arozarena, right, we tend to think of the guy who had one of the best playoff runs we've ever seen. And that's not what he is right now. But what he is somebody who gets on base a lot. And when you have him getting on base, and when you have Raleigh getting on base, and when you have Jorge Polanco getting on base, and J.P. Crawford walking and getting on base, and even like Mitch Garver, Leo Rivas, like, you know, Rowdy Tellez hitting home runs, everyone's doing something. And it just by the way, it's wild that I have not mentioned Julio Rodriguez yet, right? Yep. Because we thought, you know, as goes Julio, so go the Mariners. Apparently not. Julio, you know, yesterday, yeah, but generally speaking, Julio's just been solid this year, and that has been enough.
I still tend to think that long term, in order for the Mariners to get to where they want to go, they're going to have to get some of that version of Julio. And it's worth saying he hasn't been bad. He's been better, you know, through the first month and a half than he has been the last couple of years. But, yeah, I mean, it is really impressive just how deep they've been and how many you said everyone, almost everyone. They do have one player with a 300 OPS. We'll have to talk about him in a little while. It's a 300 OPS. That's that's a territory that you don't normally talk about. But we'll talk about Donovan Solano later. There's too many other fun things to talk about. And I wanted to ask you about what we saw last night with Luis Castillo. I don't know how much of it you got a chance to see. He's throwing 96 again. A week ago, we were talking with you about his velocity. Well, he's had 2 starts since, throwing 96 in both of them. But his 96-mile-an-hour fastball yesterday was moving 22 inches arm side. So is that a 4-seamer? Is that a 2-seamer? Has he invented a 3-seamer? Like, what's going on?
I did not get to see the grip on the pitch, but, you know, whatever you want to call it, if you're getting 22 inches of arm side run, let's just call it like a death ball, because it's really, really hard to hit. And like we talked about this, guys, it's nice to have the velo back, but with Luis Castillo, it's about command and it's about movement now at this point in his career, I think. And he illustrated that yesterday, and it's, you know, it's nice. It's been nice to see Logan Evans and Emerson Hancock do what they've done. But if you have, I'm not even going to say prime Castillo, if you just have good Castillo, along with a healthy Kirby, who was up to, 98 in his last start, and Logan Gilbert, who was at 95 in his bullpens and will be going out and be on a rehab assignment soon, I imagine, and will be back. and Brian Woo. Like, I love, you guys know I love watching Brian Woo pitch because he doesn't walk anyone. And it's almost like Woo has been Kirby. Like, he has filled that role this year. 55-8 strikeout to walk ratio. I know nobody is George Kirby, like Maddox with velocity when he's healthy. But Brian Woo's doing a pretty damn good imitation of both of them.
You feel it, Jeff? I mean, just, what are we, 10 minutes in here, and you're just talking about all these guys who've not even gotten to Mooney on the back end of that, who's been the best closer in baseball. There's not even an argument about that. Are you and your peers kind of feeling it as you listen and maybe chat with Buster and folks around the building? Like, these Mariners got a lot going on. Best road record in baseball. They're doing this without a couple of their guns. They're getting contributions from everybody. Are you starting to hear a little more noise, a little more attention about these guys up in Seattle?
I think there's cautious optimism at this point because it still feels like the offensive end of things. It's not that it's not real. It's been going on now for too long for it to be not real. But I guess I'm waiting for the other shoe to drop. I don't like
last year. You think last year plays a role? I mean, they were 10 games up in the American League West in June. You think there's scars of like last year's demise in fall?
I don't think about it that way because I feel like they look like a different team right now. They just look like like a team that knows what it is, and they're embracing that. And so I think last year, I don't know, maybe it lives in some small recess of their mind, but I don't see the collapse playing any role this season. They're just playing confident baseball, and it's fun to watch. Like, they're an enjoyable team to watch.
It's great seeing the text reaction here to you being on video today. So for everyone watching on YouTube or on the app or seattlesports.com.
Oh, no. What are the reactions?
How's the coloring look?
Roast me live.
It actually really has been, Jeff. At this point, Jeff is far less disinterested than I thought he would be. Jeff sounds different today, maybe a little extra nasally or something. Yeah, there's a couple of others. Why does Jeff sound like AI Jeff today? I don't know. Those are all reasonable questions. I don't.
AI Jeff.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I kind of like the idea of AI Jeff.
I do not. We don't need that.
No, we really don't.
You know what I kind of like, Jeffrey? I kind of like, and I know where you're coming from, right? Because Leody Taveras was let go by Texas for a reason. Our first base situation is kind of like an eclipse. And when he delivers, they're typically big home runs and difference-making home runs. Right? Polanco's come back to earth a little bit. Julio's WRC plus is 112. And so I kind of get where you're getting offensively. But then I look down on the farm as well. And this is where I think they feel more complete than maybe any time, Salk, honestly, in our 15 years. Because down on the farm, Harry Ford is exploding in Tacoma. Down on the farm, Cole Young is exploding this month. Obviously, the single-A guys are too far away to contribute this season. But for the first time in some time, you've got legitimate offensive threats down there on the farm. How do you mitigate and manage that?
I mean, it's the most first world problem imaginable. We have good big league players and a good farm system. And there are going to be some mistakes along the way, right? Either guys are going to be rushed or guys are going to be kept down for too long. Guys are going to come up and fail, and they're going to have to be sent back. But that's the consequence when you have as many really good prospects as they do. And my question at this point, guys, is which one of them goes in July? Because this Mariners team is in a position right now to go and add. And we still don't know, like, before we get to, like, okay, who are they going to target, stuff like it's still too early for that. We still don't know which teams. Like, I would have thought St. Louis, for example, was going to be dealing at the deadline this year. You know, they didn't spend $1 in free agency this offseason. They came back with this team that was mediocre last year. I saw St. Louis and Kansas City this weekend. Maybe it's recency bias. Maybe it's bias for seeing them in person. I think they're good. And, I think they're actually quite good. Their defense is spectacular. And my question, and I'm writing about this right now, like can you ride defense to a postseason berth? But all of this was to say that I think people thought that Ryan Helsley was going to be available. And imagine adding Ryan Helsley to a bullpen that has Munoz and Brash and Spire and is performing the way that it is right now. I mean, that would be lockdown, nasty, exactly what you're looking for. But, is Harry Ford, because Cal Rowley's there, is Harry Ford a guy who's going to be expendable? And if so, what are you going to be able to get for him? Do you move him now? Do you move him over the winter to try and, get an even bigger piece and maybe not a guy who's on an expiring contract? Just like, sorry to bring this up, but, like 54%, not this year.
Well, this is, isn't this
not
why
this year.
you do a rebuild? Honestly, Jeff, isn't this why you rebuilt? Isn't this why they did their step back and traded Cano and everything else they did? And maybe, a couple years ago was the beginning of that competitive window, but this was the idea because the team they had was capable then of winning 90 games also, but they didn't have anything in their farm system to go and supplement it either when guys were hurt or when they wanted to add at the deadline or in the offseason. Now you've got a team that's as good as the one with Cano and Cruz and et cetera, right. Except you also have the organization behind it. This is literally why you rebuild.
That's been the joy, I think, of this season, Mike, because I think we had questions coming into this year. Like, is this one of those weird gap years where you still got your starting pitching, they're still in their prime, they're still theoretically healthy, but the offense just isn't going to be enough, and maybe they're like a year and a half away from having all of those prospects start graduating and come up and become impact players. And it turns out the offense is good enough. So I do wonder if that allows them a little bit of time to let them bake and let them find that best version of themselves without having the pressure to go to the big leagues and be immediate contributors, which is, it's always what you want from guys. It's just not particularly realistic. Like, what the Mariners did exceptionally well is turn pitching prospects into actual guys. I always look at it like, for every 5 pitching prospects you have, like good ones, if you get 1 starter and 1 reliever out of them, you've done okay. The Mariners' hit rate was way higher than that. And that has fueled, their first playoff run in 20 years and competitiveness the last couple of years, and then presumably, hopefully for them, another playoff run this season. The scary part, though, is there aren't a lot of other organizations in baseball who have that level of big league talent as well as the minor league talent as well. The Dodgers are always going to be there. The Cubs have a pretty good farm system. But teams that are like winning right now and have a system like the Mariners, a handful at most.
Can I ask an uncomfortable question?
Oh boy. Of course.
Do we need 2 baseball teams in Chicago still?
Yes.
Are you sure?
Yes. Why not?
Well, I don't know. I found myself thinking about it last night watching the White Sox, and they're spending $43 million on their active roster. If you take Robert, who they would love to deal out of it, it would be $28 million for 25 players. I mean, they're not spending a dime. Nobody's going to the games. They play in a ballpark that's literally called Rate Field. I don't even know what that means. Rate. It's not even guaranteed rate anymore. It's just Rate Field, a name that you can't even Google. I can't. There's no one there. Chicago's big, but it's not that big. It's the only sport in which they have 2 teams.
What do you mean Chicago's not that big?
It's the 3rd biggest city. It's 7.5. I know, it's 7.5 million people, but 2/3 of them at least are Cubs fans. So you're not talking about such an enormous population of White Sox fans. Like, Montreal has 4.5 million people in that area. Like, do we need a second team in Chicago still?
Are you trying to contract teams?
No, I'm trying to move the White Sox to Montreal.
You're trying to move teams.
Yeah, I think I am. I think it's sad watching them.
All right, little Reinsdorf. Like this. Come on, Mike.
All right, so no.
Were you hold on, were you trying to move them when they were good?
No, but that was 20
Then
years
what kind
ago.
of fair weather garbage is this?
I mean, it's been 20
They
years.
stink. Let's move them.
That's not it. No, it's not about stinking. It's about an
It's
owner that-
100, dude. It is 100% about stinking.
Well, but it's about not trying. I mean, they're not trying.
Oh, are they going to try in Montreal?
Maybe if they sold the team to somebody else. They sold them to somebody in Montreal. Yes.
That was not the uncomfortable question I was expecting. I thought it was going to be like something about like the faces that I make when I'm on camera.
I don't care about that.
Or how this is true. Like, I think I'm okay on TV. Like, I think I'm passable on TV. It's not something that's natural to me or comfortable, but I've gotten okay. My biggest flaw on TV, and you will see this if you look at me when I'm on, when I'm talking, I don't blink. I don't know why.
You smile. What's with the huge smile while you're talking?
Because I feel good when I'm talking.
No, this is some TV coaching or something.
No.
Some consultant told you to start smiling whenever you're talking on TV.
No, absolutely not. I'm a joyous guy, Mike, except when I hear your trash. Let's move the White Sox.
Well, just a question.
Come on, man.
How about Pittsburgh, Colorado, Baltimore all firing their managers before May 20th? What's the future? I mean, look, Pittsburgh not a surprise, Colorado not a surprise. Those poor guys don't have much of a shot. The Baltimore thing is fascinating. I'm totally blown away, shocked by how bad Baltimore is, and I will admit I get much of my information just by following Jason LaCanfora on Twitter, who spends every single day
He's
just
angry.
Oh my God,
so mad.
My God, does he hate Michael Elias? I mean, just every single day he's on
But
it.
isn't that the team, Jeff? You said earlier you thought it might be St. Louis. I mean, isn't Baltimore the team? They're 15-31, and we've talked about them for years of being a team that would match bats for the Mariners' arms. And I mean, aren't they the perfect team? And isn't this an ideal situation for the Mariners?
Yeah, but at this point, the guys who you want to get from Baltimore's not trading. They're not trading Gunnar Henderson. They're not trading Jackson Holliday. Not trading. No, they might trade Jordan Westberg. They're not trading Adley Rutschman. But these are all guys who are underperforming, and that's to say nothing of what they did in free agency this winter, where they went out and actually spent money. Like, they spent $100 million this offseason. 49.5 went to Tyler O'Neill, who's got, I think, a 500 OPS and is on the injured list. 8.5 went to Gary Sanchez, who's had 20 plate appearances and on the injured list. 10 went to Andrew Kittredge, who hasn't thrown a pitch for them this year. 15 went to Charlie Morton, who's 0-7 with an 8-something ERA. 5.25 went to Kyle Gibson, who's already been released. And 13 went to Tomoyuki Sugano, who's actually been pretty good but doesn't strike anyone out. They had the opportunity to add to this core. They did not add the right people, and Brandon Hyde wore it after 101 win and 91 win playoff seasons. And look, when you are given the kind of talent that he has been given and you don't win, it's bound to happen. But at some point, the talent actually has to do something, and they're not right now. It all goes back, Mike, when you talk about the three managers being fired. Can't fire the players. And so someone's got to wear it when things are going as poorly as they are.
And isn't that an exercise there for Mariners fans? And I think all of us can raise our hands with some of the frustration of this offseason and not spending and not finding impact. Like my old late great real estate boss used to say to me, sometimes the best deal is the deal you don't do. What if the Mariners had spent $100 million and $50 million on Tyler O'Neill, right, and made some of these similar moves and watched these guys underperform? They wouldn't have the best road record in baseball and be 8 games over 500 right now.
I think that's very true. I also think that spending is better than not spending.
Mm-hmm. I think drafting and developing is the best premise of them all.
No. You're totally right. They're just not mutually exclusive, and I don't want, because of the Mariners' success this year, to give ownership an out necessarily, and to say that the way that they have proceeded in recent off seasons and the budget that they've given this front office is reasonable or acceptable. They should have more, but they're going to be getting into a position in the coming years because all of these prospects are going to be arriving and are going to be making $800,000 or so a year for the first 3 years in the big leagues, that they're going to have some leeway. They're going to have some room to spend. And so when Logan Gilbert gets expensive, which he already is, when George Kirby gets expensive, like keeping some of these guys around, I think that's the next phase. Like, who are you going to add to Julio and... I mean,
Cal.
who else? Like, yeah, Cal. Like, they really, aside from that, they really don't have anyone else signed super long term, right?
No, not really.
Those are two good ones to have, though.
Yeah,
by
no
the way.
kidding. Those are pretty good guys to have locked up. Just you mentioned and touched on it earlier, but I did find myself impressed with both Logan Evans and Emerson Hancock and the job they've done. Maybe sort of two parts of the question. One, how many other teams have those types of guys as their 6 and 7 starters kind of ready to fill in? Obviously the Dodgers do and a few others, but how common roughly is that? And then, what do you do when you get all 5 of your projected starters back? Is there a way to take advantage of the skills that either of those two guys have, or do you just have to, unfortunately, have the wonderful problem of having too many starting pitchers and put 2 of them in AAA?
It is uncommon, and I think that with Hancock, it's probably back to AAA. With Evans, a guy who they have toyed with in the bullpen before, I wonder if they keep him there and keep him maybe as a long guy, or potentially, just use the stuff and turn him into a short inning guy for the time being and then re-stretch him out. But it's one of those things where you want a guy to have a defined role. You don't want him to be going back and forth necessarily. We've seen scenarios where guys have been toyed with too much. And the safe thing, and honestly, the Mariners are in the position right now where they might be able to do the safe thing. The safe thing would be to send them both back down, get them their innings this year so that there's not too big of a jump next year or at any point if they have to go back into the rotation. But I just think, those two have rotation spots at some point going forward. And, it might be if the others leave via free agency. It could be if there's a trade. But there's also Ryan Sloan and Jurangelo St. And, they are fast on the come up as well.
To quote the great Pete Carroll, man, this is really fun. This is a first-place baseball team with as loaded organizationally as we have ever had, talent-wise, up and down. And honestly, like watching Cal emerge, he's 4th in the WRC Plus in baseball, or was a day ago. To watch Julio not even have to be a superstar and carry it, and watch all of this, Jeff. This is, we have a chance to have, I think, a really fun summer together.
Can I just say one thing quickly?
Yeah.
Let's remember this conversation when they go through a losing streak.
Yep.
Like last week?
I haven't
seen that since like last week. Yeah.
Yeah, but this is what happens with good teams. They go on longer good runs than they go on bad runs. And if you can limit those bad runs to a few games and make those good runs over 10, 12 games, that's a division-winning team right there, gentlemen.
Pretty cool. Jeffrey, thank you. It was nice to see you and not just talk to you this week. And we're already ready. We'll do it again next Tuesday.
Blink.
Thanks, man.
Blink, Jeff.
Yeah, blink.
Yeah, I'll try not to smile as much, you turd.
There goes Jeff Passan, who just calling me names, which I think is totally inappropriate here. But we'll come right back and discuss everything he had to say. Maybe I'll call him some names once he's off the air and can't respond. It's Brock and Salk, Seattle Sports on 710.
Only Brock and Salk in Seattle Sports go one-on-one with Raiders head coach Pete Carroll. Dude, that still sounds so weird.
Are you kidding me?
Good morning, Coach. How are you?
What's happening, fellas? Nice to see you.
Nice to see you, too. It's been a while. How
Yeah,
are
I
you?
bet. I get it. Yeah. You haven't called me once. What are you talking about? Doing great. We're having a blast. The energy around this building is really familiar and really fun.
The whole conversation's on video. Watch it on YouTube or the Seattle Sports app.
Your summer starts here in a new Toyota RAV4. May 8th through June 2nd, get 4.99 APR financing on a new 25 RAV4 or 5.99 on a RAV4 Hybrid, excludes plug-ins, or lease a RAV4 LE gas for $319 a month for 36 months with $39.99 due at signing. With approved credit through TFS, tax, title, and license extra. A negotiable doc fee of up to $200 may be added. Call 1-888-48-TOYOTA for details or go to toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places.
Hey, Green Gobbler here. So you've got a clogged drain in your bathroom. Water in the sink's overstaying its welcome. You're spitting today's toothpaste on top of yesterday's toothpaste. You hoped it'd go away. Yeah, clogs don't just go away. I make them go away. I'm Green Gobbler, the only clog dissolver you need. I'm bleach-free, safe for your pipes, and I work. Guaranteed or your money back. Because I never met a clog that was gonna unclog itself. Green Gobbler. Let the gobbler get it.
Why choose a Sleep Number smart bed?
Can I make my side softer?
Can I make my side firmer?
Can we sleep cooler?
Sleep Number does that. Cools up to 8 times faster and lets you choose your ideal comfort on either side. Your Sleep Number setting. It's the Sleep Number Everything Smart Bed sale. Every smart bed and base are on sale during our Memorial Day event. Up to 50% off, plus free home delivery. Limited time. Exclusively to Sleep Number store near you. Learn more at sleepnumber.com.
Headed to the ballpark? Skip the traffic jams, parking fees, and the stress of driving. Make riding transit part of your game day ritual. Roll in with your crew, talk stats, and meet fans. No traffic, no stress. Community Transit riders enjoy seamless connections to light rail and ferries to get to Seattle and beyond. And youth 18 and under ride the bus for free. All in for the win. Plan your trip with Community Transit at ctgo.org/home run.
Discover one of the new inventions in home comfort with mini split systems from Home Comfort Alliance. Enjoy efficient heating and cooling, saving energy and reducing utility bills. Call now for a free consultation and get 18 months same as cash financing. Visit homecomfortalliance.com.
Synthetic Turf Northwest is now open in Fife, the South Sound headquarters for premium synthetic turf. They help homeowners with a turnkey solution, DIYers, and contractors and landscapers needing quality products. With premium turf in stock, expert advice, and pro installation services, everything you need is under one roof. Visit their new showroom off I-5 in Fife, Synthetic Turf Northwest. Supplies and installation expertise all in one place. Mention radio for up to $1,000 off. SyntheticTurfNorthwest.com.
You ever try fixing your car and realize you're missing that one part? Yeah, been there. That's why eBay's my go-to. They've got millions of parts, guaranteed to fit. I'm talking brake pads for when yours have seen one too many miles of stop and go. Oil filters, because you don't mess around with your engine care. Even got this cold air intake on my watch list. I might just go for it. To keep the ride cool and your DIY streak hot. Find all the parts you need at prices you'll love. Guaranteed to fit every time. eBay. Things people love. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
Ready to order?
Yes. We're earning unlimited 3% cash back on dining and entertainment with a Capital One Saver card, so let's just get one of everything.
Everything?
Fire everything! The Capital One Saver card is at table 27 and they're earning unlimited 3% cash back.
Yes, Chef! This is so nice.
Had a feeling you'd want 3% cash back on dessert.
Ooh, tiramisu!
Earn unlimited 3% cash back on dining and entertainment with the Capital One Saver card. Capital One, what's in your wallet?
Terms apply. See CapitalOne.com for details.
From whiplash to herniated discs, there are a few car accident injuries we've all heard of. J.P. Pendergast with Pendergast Law explains that even the most common injuries differ from one another.
Pre-existing conditions, health history, beginning of treatment. There are hundreds of factors that make every person and every injury unique. While these variables aid medical treatment, the strongest case recoveries must also take them into account.
Could you explain a little bit more?
Our team at Pendergast Law is obsessed with turning over every stone to differentiate each case. This requires thorough investigation, diligent listening, and relentless research. We never pursue cases with a one-size-fits-all approach. We built our success by treating every injury and every case with the individualized attention our clients need and deserve.
Pendergast Law's individualized approach to even the most common injuries makes the difference in case outcomes. It's another reason why I can't recommend them enough.
If you or a loved one has been injured in a car accident, call Pendergast Law. We can help.
Hey, 12s, Steve Rabel here, voice of your Seattle Seahawks. The wait is over, and tickets are on sale now for our historic 50th season. This season is going to be legendary with past, present, and future collide. Get your tickets today at Seahawks.com/tickets.
Let's go! This is Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app.
KIRO AM Seattle. KIRO FM HD2 Tacoma. Home of the Seahawks, Mariners, and everything Seattle sports.
Give me a freaking auto!
From the Quantum Fiber Studio, this is Brock and Salk on Seattle Sports.
Brock Heward and Matt Marcus. Sorry about just Mike.
Heward, not exactly Joe Cap there in the pocket.
Now here are your hosts, Brock Heward and Mike Salk.
Oh, man. 210 says, for the first time, I'm watching the show on YouTube. So this is my first time seeing Jeff. I mean, he's been on ESPN for a while. It's kind of weird this is your first time seeing him. I've never seen someone who looks so much different than they sound. Jeff looks like a Gen Z kid, but he sounds like he grew up with John Clayton. Really? That's funny. I mean, he's on TV a lot, so it's funny to me that this would be the only time you've ever seen him. But we appreciate the YouTube views, and it's nice. It is a good way, I think, for a lot of people to catch the show. The company spent some decent money on this. It actually looks pretty good. I don't know. We've got a nice graphic package, and you got good lighting, and you could see us okay. And when Lyle and Maura turn on their mics, which they'll do right now, you can see them in the other room. There's Lyle, and Maura's busy doing something else, so she doesn't want to turn on her mic right now. Hold on. Oh, there's Maura.
I didn't know that's.
No, there's Maura. Maura looks bright. Your face is brightly lit in that room. In contrast,
always kind of a little too bright. It makes me look really white and pale.
Okay. Well, all right.
That back camera, I think, does that a little bit.
Kind of fluorescent lighting back here.
Well, all right. Well, so you can see Maura. You can see Lyle. Maura's not happy with how she looks. Lyle seems to be just fine with it.
No, I'll be honest. When I sat in that back chair, I noticed the same thing.
Oh, you were unhappy back there.
Yeah.
You kind of washed you out.
A little bit.
All right. Okay. I can see that.
Pat's not happy about your White Sox take either. He called you little Jerry Reinsdorf.
I know. Whatever.
That's what Brock was hoping for.
Cares
you
what
guys were gonna pick her
I didn't even bring it up.
I mean, look, it's not really a serious take. I'm not sitting here saying the White Sox should be moved tomorrow, but I just found myself thinking about it yesterday watching that game. There's no one there. Reinsdorf has torched the franchise. Yeah. And, look, we've argued I don't know how many times about money and what to spend. I don't believe that you have to spend $250 million to win, but you can't spend $40. That just doesn't even make sense. You can't, and especially without any real prospect. I mean, that team is an embarrassment. It's just terrible. And it is a little odd to me that Chicago would have two baseball teams. I know it's just history, and it's a big city. It's the third biggest city, third biggest metro market in the country, but New York and LA are both significantly larger than that. So I don't know. It was more of a passing thought. I was curious where Jeff would go because I feel bad for anybody who left who actually likes that team.
Well, you just contrast that with what is going on right now, momentum-wise, with these Mariners. When you just contrast it with the joy that Julio plays with, you contrast it with a young, just absolutely give every limb of his body for this team, and Cal Raleigh, who's playing great baseball. You contrast that with what you've done drafting and developing these players, and yeah, I mean, quite honestly, as we were talking through that, I don't think this is just a prisoner to the moment of sitting here at 27-19 on a nice little 4-game winning streak and winning a series again, poised to do another. I think this is just the big picture, Salk, reality of, man, this team is drafted incredibly well.
Well, it's funny. It's funny to hear you say that after last year and the year before, saying over and over again that draft and develop wasn't enough.
It's not fully enough, as he said. When it comes to next month, if this team is here, best road record, if this team is 4 games up, I hope you've learned that, you know what, now you've built up these draft prospects, and you got to go. You got to go add,
and I'm sure they will.
You got to go add, and you got to go. I mean,
that's always been the idea: was draft, develop, and trade. And
that's right.
All I heard was that wasn't enough.
Well, what's happened, unfortunately, is the trade component, Salk, of the last couple of years in the market conditions has been very difficult.
And it's probably going to be difficult again this year because there's a lot of teams that are still in it.
And there are some teams this year that have fallen flat on their face.
But
like
they
the
don't,
team out there in
unfortunately,
Baltimore.
have a lot of, as Jeff was saying, they don't have a lot of players that are likely to be dealt. Now, that'll change, obviously, by the time you get to the end of July. But Chicago's been picked through. Rockies have been picked through. Marlins basically been picked through. Pittsburgh's been basically picked through. Maybe there's a crazy situation where they move Paul Skeens. I'd be shocked. Maybe they're finally ready to move Brian Reynolds, but he's not worth what he used to be worth. I mean, there's some conversations, I suppose, in there, and Baltimore will be the best of them because of all the good young hitters that they have that are not living up to that standard. But it is just, I don't know, it's just kind of funny to...
remember also the first 10, 12 years when we talk about prospects, we're not talking about 9 in the top 100.
No.
You're not talking about this level of depth at every single level of your organization. You haven't had.
I do mean what I said. This is why you rebuilt, so that you could build something like this. And there was always a sense that it would take... that it could take this long. And yes, they kind of got up there a little bit ahead of schedule, et cetera. But this was always kind of the plan, was to build a team that would be sustainable. And this is part of the reason you don't spend a huge amount of money in free agency, because the long-term plan is to have a lot of internal options. Now, it doesn't mean you shouldn't go ahead and spend some, and I would like to see them, and I thought they probably should have this past offseason, and I think there's still room to do so and spend more money. But I think this was sort of always what the thought was behind a rebuild, is that you build up a farm system that is A+ to go with a team that is competitive. And when you have both of those things, now you got a real shot to do something. I also said this morning, Brock, and this is related, not the same. I think it's not early anymore. Like, I think we've graduated from it's early. It's not early. Maybe it's a couple days before Memorial Day, but not significantly. It's not early. This is kind of who the Mariners are. And as Jeff said, there'll be some ups and downs. It's not like they're going to win 4 straight every single week. But I think it's fairly safe to say that they've played enough teams. They've gone deep enough into the season. They've dealt with enough adversity. This is who they are.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and you got the White Sox, hopefully for a couple more, if the weather permits. Obviously 4 in Houston. And, we'll see how that rolls. And Houston's playing some better, but then it's, the Angels, and then it's the Nationals, and then it's some teams that, frankly, you're better than.
Mm-hmm.
And, you've kind of expressed that against some of these teams this year, that you're better than, and go win that series, and go win that series, and go win that series. And, yeah, you just kind of keep on doing that. And you've got this depth rolling in your farm system as well, playing the way that they're playing. Again, we've talked about this. We've had a lot of excitement. The Major League team was 10 games up in the West last June, Salk, when it also wasn't particularly early. But you just didn't have.
I would say the difference,
the minor league pumping the way they are.
Not just that you didn't have the combination of offense and defense, or offense and pitching that you have right now, and defense, to be perfectly honest. All 3 phases of the team are working. Right? I mean, that's what's been so interesting. You look at these last 4 games. You've scored 20 runs. That's 5 runs a game. That'll get it done 9 times out of 10. And you're giving up 1 run a game. That's going to get it done 9 times out of 10. Like, that's how you do it. And it's a combination of the big things and the little things. They're hitting home runs and they're walking. They're limiting home runs and they're limiting walks. They're finding ways when they don't hit home runs to dink little singles, put the ball in play, and take a swinging bunt or 2, or go the other way. Like, they honestly have done a combination of all of the various different things. It's what makes some of the arguments about them pretty fun, because it's the people who want small ball are getting their fill of small ball. The people who think it's big ball are getting their fill of money ball. The people who want, you're just getting a little of everything.
It comes down to diversification.
Is that what it is?
No longer developers. Diversify.
Wow, never thought Brock would go on a diversity kick, but here we are. Brock's pounding the table for diversity. It's been quite the day here in the Brock and Salk Show, and we'll be right back with everything you need to know next.
Wyman and Bob, afternoons 2 to 7.
The release of the Seahawks schedule, you open at home with the Niners, you close the season on the road with the Niners.
You know what's interesting about that is just that where's San Francisco going to be? I'm just curious if they're going to be able to be that team that kind of has dominated. Those 2 games I think are going to be really interesting just to see where the Seahawks are. I think this year the tougher challenge might be the Rams.
Dave Wyman and Bob Stelton, afternoons 2 to 7 on Seattle Sports, the app, YouTube, and your smart speaker.
Anchor.
All right, Mike Salk here, and summer, it's around the corner. I know today doesn't necessarily feel like it, but we're getting close, almost Memorial Day, and so you start thinking about, the barbecues, golfing, vacations, etc. And when you take all the pictures that tend to go with it, don't you want to look and feel your very best? Well, Eastside Weight Loss Clinic can help, and trust me, you can do this very fast. I lost 15 pounds in the first 2 weeks. I lost 35 pounds in just 8 weeks. So you can get this done well before the start of summer. And it's easy, safe, healthy, sustainable weight loss, no pills, no injections, no surgery, real food that you buy at the grocery store, and you just lose weight. It's awesome. The secret, well, you'll find out in a 15-minute call with Eastside Weight Loss Clinic. You can schedule that right now at eastsideweightlossclinic.com. That's eastsideweightlossclinic.com. Dr. Ryan Coogan, D.C. Results may vary.
At Cressy Door, we have the perfect garage door for you. Come visit our brand new garage door and fireplace showroom and let our experts help you find the perfect garage door. Cressy Door.
Did you hear? A recent stash of $10 gold Liberty coins from the 1800s has been found. These gorgeous gold coins are as bright and shiny as the day they were struck in the late 1800s, and less than 200 of these gold coins are available. Coin experts are calling this gold find an incredible opportunity. Call 1-800-917-4635, and you are guaranteed a $10 gold Liberty coin minted by the U.S. Mint in the 1800s. But with extremely limited availability, you must call now. These gold Liberty coins from the 1800s are still in uncirculated condition. That is history you can hold in your hand. To learn more, call 1-800-917-4635. Call now and you'll receive a free American Coin Collector's Bonus Package, a $40 value, free with every order. Call 1-800-917-4635 now to secure your $10 gold Liberty coins dated from the 1800s before they sell out. That's 1-800-917-4635.
Jaden Schwartz for Techline Roofing. The ice may have melted, but spring is the perfect time for a new roof. Call Techline Roofing. Take advantage of our easy financing and our spring special. That's TEKLINE roofing.com.
There's a sink at the brink and a drain that's a pain.
Dayandnight.net.
The old throne's not too well, and ooh, does it smell?
Dayandnight.net.
Slow drains, backed up toilet, is your main drain or sewer clogged? Hi, I'm Bruce, General Manager of Day and Night Plumbing and Heating. Over the past 70 years, I think we've seen every drain clog out there. If your pipes aren't draining from a small fix to a major repair, our sewer and camera inspection will show exactly where the problem is. I promise you, our experienced technicians will find the issue, the right solution, and do it at a fair price. Give us a call or visit
dayandnight.net.
I guarantee whether Day and Night is your first choice or your smart second opinion, we'll work harder than anyone to earn your trust.
If you have a drain that's slow or clogged, call Day and Night. Now you'll save $50 off any drain cleaning. Slow or clogged drains? You know where to go.
Dayandnight.net.
We are Seattle Sports, the home of the Seahawks, Mariners, and everything Seattle sports.
Watch your favorite show live at seattlesports.com.
You think your home is pretty cool until that summer heat hits, and suddenly your home isn't that cool. In fact, it's hot. Air conditioning from Washington Energy Services can help. Stay cool this summer with our biggest spring savings event ever. This month only, take up to $2,500 off an energy-efficient brine cooling system with exclusive Washington Energy rebates. Ensure your home is always the cool house with air conditioning from Washington Energy Services. Contact us today for a free estimate.
You've heard the saying, you never get a second chance to make a first impression. Since 1926, my family's been helping local businesses make great first, second, and long-term impressions. We know how to make your company look good with quality uniforms, logoed apparel, floor mats, linens, and more. If you're paying for linen service or doing it yourself, let's have the conversation. The information and quote are free, but the savings and service can really add up. Visit suplinen.com. Superior Linen Service. It's what we do.
Yeah, I have a ton of really memorable customers. One of my favorite customers I've ever had, he came in and had a really bad experience with several different dealerships. He just lost his husband. His husband left him with a truck, and he was like, I don't need a truck. Like, this is so impractical for me. And it was a really emotional decision for him because it was one of the last things that he had, obviously husbands. we were like, it's no problem. Like, we're going to help you. And we did the process the same way that we always do the process. And we helped him trade in his truck for a beautiful new Rogue. And that was really cool. And he bought his second car from us. And I'm sure when he needs a third car, he'll come back and buy his third car from Nissan too. Afterwards, to thank us, he sent us this beautiful basket of like candies and fruits and stuff.
Making a great day for the people around you is making a great day for yourself. The LJ way is the Lee Johnson Auto family.
Need to know.
15 minutes past every hour with Brock and Salk.
Here's what you need to know. Up first.
Yeah, get these Mariners on the road, and they are very difficult to stop. The pitching was incredible yesterday. We'll get to Luis Castillo in a moment, but Julio Rodriguez taking care of the offense in the eighth.
And with a sign, delivers, swing, and a well-hit ball deep to left field. Slater going back, and this one is gone. Goodbye, baseball. Grandma, get out the rye bread and mustard. It is grand salami time. Julio Rodriguez with a grand slam, his 8th home run of the season. The Mariners' 4th salami on the year. And the Mariners get the insurance runs they were looking for.
I mean, Julio's on pace, not quite to get to 30, but to get to like 25. And he hasn't really hit his hot streak yet. We haven't gotten to the summer. Like, I don't know, 30-30 still seems totally possible for Julio this year in a year where everyone's kind of like, he's not that good. He's okay. Great center field.
Yep. In a year, it's become a little more about Cal.
Yeah.
Right? In a year, it's become about the totality rather than just the individual, which I think is always a good thing as well. Did you hear that fan in the background, by the way? Julio, right before he swings. That was
Pretty easy
good.
to hear every individual fan, what with very few people being there. What was he saying on that Luis Castillo pitch? I was just watching it with Brent in the other room. We were trying to figure out whether it's a two-seamer or four-seamer. Brent was convinced it's a two-seamer.
I think it's a two-seamer.
But it's 96, and it's not really dropping. I think you're right. Like, I would, if pressed, I would call that a two-seamer. That's what I thought yesterday.
I don't know how a four-seamer creates that much lateral movement.
Well, just because of the angle of his arm, right? You're getting so on the side of it that it just naturally runs, even though it's not really sinking. I don't know how to answer it, but whatever it was, he was awesome yesterday, and that's about as good as we've seen his fastball in a while. He doesn't allow a run and go 7 innings. I know it's a bad lineup, but that's kind of what you need from Luis Castillo.
Yep, kind of what this bullpen needs as well. I really wish Mooney didn't have to get up. I wish Troy would have just thrown strikes.
No.
And I think that's exactly what Rowdy said to him when he walked in there. Like, hey, dude, throw strikes.
5-run lead.
I know you're grunting. I know you're violent. I know you like to throw 96, 97. Just throw strikes.
Yeah.
All right. And, to have to get Mooney up and to have to use Mooney to get that last out, those are one of those little things that it doesn't affect yesterday. But does it affect today? Does it affect the rest of this 10 games?
Well, it's not going to affect them much at all if they end up with an off day today due to rain. We'll see where all of that ends up going. You're supposed to, as of now, I think, pitch Casey Lawrence tonight. So rain wouldn't necessarily be like the worst thing in the world. Brent just texted me. He said they called it a two-seamer or a sinker on MLB game day. But I was watching on MLB.com last night. They were calling it a four-seamer. So the mystery continues.
Trust MLB TV.
All right.
Here's the second thing you need to know.
Brock's in love with the Seahawks preseason slate. I never thought I would say those words, but you know what? He kind of convinced me. It didn't take that much. Like, Brock, you're right. It was a surprise argument, but I'm into it.
Pete Carroll, the first Thursday. The Mariners play that day. Place is going to be juiced. You know what early August is. 85, sunshine, just an unbelievable day.
7 o'clock kick.
Coming back.
It'll be light out at the end of that game.
Pretty close.
It's pretty crazy.
For sure, through three quarters. And they'll play their people, which is always great because Pete's going to want to play his people. And then you get the Chiefs rolling into town, and more than likely, the Chiefs love to do joint practices. And with that will come a lot of exposure and a lot of hoopla. And for the Milrose and the E-Man Warriors, and for still a pretty young team to get to practice against those guys and see all that awesome. And then you get to go to Green Bay, where it will be a packed house because they pack their house for every preseason game, even preseason scrimmages. So I don't know, as you kind of write it out, how it could be much better than that.
Yeah, pretty darn good. We'll see by the end of the day, they will probably have banned the tush push. That seems to be where all the momentum is heading right now. Here's a little bit from Albert Breer.
I think they want to get rid of it. I think something gets through. And I'm with you. I hate the optics of it. I hate like one team being really good at something and someone being penalized for it. I think that's always horse crap. And I think that's what this is in a lot of cases. Just like, well, Philly's, well, Philly's been getting away with this for so long. Like, let's get rid of it. Like, I don't know, man. Like, they're so good at it, they don't even need to push them half the time. So, like, this might not have the effect that you think it's going to have.
It does feel silly to me. I know you were in favor of this, Brock. I did see this suggestion. Our friend Carrington Harrison in Kansas City suggested, what if you only allowed it on 4th downs? So at that point you were saying, hey, it's not an every down kind of play. It's not as much of an injury risk, but on 4th downs it's allowed. What would you make of that?
I don't know.
It does seem sort of like, why would you need to change all the rules on 4th down?
Correct. For this one play, yeah.
Just let it go.
Yeah.
I'm fine with it. Kind of weak.
I don't know.
Here's the third thing you need to know.
What'd you say?
Did Breer just call it horse crap?
Yeah.
And turd. We got horse crap and turd within 20 minutes.
Yeah, that seems unnecessary. It's a family show. Come on, people. NBA playoffs continue. NHL playoffs continue. In the NHL, you got game 1 of the Eastern Conference Finals, Carolina, Florida tonight, Dallas and Edmonton tomorrow. I spent a good half hour last night reading through all of the rules and regulations for the PWHL expansion draft, which is coming up, trying to figure out what it's going to look like for Seattle and what those rules will be. I didn't know a lot of the names of the players, so it made it hard, but I was at least looking through it. Mitch Marner.
Maura and Lyle and I, a Toronto article that I didn't know much of the names involved.
Did you read it?
I tried to. I honestly, I spent 5-6 minutes reading it, and then I scrolled down like, oh my gosh.
What was your takeaway?
Oh, my takeaway, like in many of these situations, is when we broaden our view from our Seattle market, you realize that you're not the only tortured souls and the only hard fan base, right? That when you look at Chicago, when you look at what's happened to the Orioles, when you look at what's the constant fall on your face of Toronto, like, yeah, this is fandom. Fandom isn't like an easy linear ride. It is really, really rocky, and for those, golly, for the Leafs that seem to do everything right and have all these stars and all these difference makers and everybody passionate and want it so bad, and they
almost want it too bad. That's kind of what makes it hysterical. All right, that's everything you need to know. I want to get to a few of these texts, and then we'll do some answer the question jerk in a little bit. 425, have Shannon ask Cal what pitch that was. All right, I will do that. I'll text Shannon and ask her. Salk was watching the game at MLB.com. Is bro using a VPN to bypass blackout? No, I was watching on Fubo, but I still had access to a computer where I clicked on it to see what it was that he was throwing. Let's see. Saul, correct. People are amazing. Saul, correct me if I'm wrong, but if you score 5 runs in a game and you only give up 1 run, that should work out 10 out of 10 times. Yes, I know that. I said, do I need to explain? If you score 5, it should work out. I said 9 out of 10. And if you score, if both happens, you're going to win every game. Salk, you think they'd trade Skeens? Quit your job. Right. Well, first of all, I read an article about it. We asked Jeff about it last week, and Passan was like, oh, that's an interesting idea, maybe. And all the while, I was like, it seems unlikely, but it's an interesting conversation.
The more I thought about it, the more I thought about that whole Paul Skeens thing, it is a very interesting conversation. That being said, if they traded him anytime soon, they'd never sell a ticket ever again.
No, they're not going to do that. They're not going to trade Paul Skeens, but it is an interesting conversation that somebody else brought up and Jeff Passan found interesting as well. So I'm not going to quit my job today. I'm sorry. I'm here. You're stuck with me for at least a little while longer. I'm not going to quit over the conversation about Paul Skeens. And then this one. Now they're going to lose 10 in a row. God, Mike, you should shut up sometimes. I mean, it's going to make it hard. It's going to be just dead air. Is that what you want? Do you want dead air?
No, it'll be me and LT. We'll make it work.
Okay. Well, here's what we're going to do. We're going to answer questions, Brock. We got to answer the question jerk coming up in about 20. So we will need questions sent right now, 866-979-3776. Any question on any subject. Usually we do a couple of etiquette questions. Those are fun. But whatever you got, 866-979-3776. We'll answer those coming up soon on Brock and Salk.
Fourth down territory. Going inside the game with former Cougs and Seahawks wide receiver Michael Bumpus.
I like this question. What team is making you an even bigger hater? You're getting even better at being a hater.
And they make it easy.
Yeah.
The Dane Cowboys.
Yeah.
They got 6 primetime games.
Mm-hmm.
6 primetime games.
Of course they did.
And they're going to be a barely over 500 team. But here's the thing. The Cowboys are going to be on primetime, and everybody's going to watch.
Fourth down territory. Every day at 11:15 and 1:15 on Bump and Stacy.
All right, it's kind of a shoulder season, right? May, kind of in between winter, and then summer, is coming. So this is a good time to have Crawl Pros come out and take a look in your crawl space and attic and check the insulation, because a lot of houses in this area have damaged insulation or even none at all. So in the winter, right, your house is cold and drafty, and then as the summer hits, it can turn your home into an oven. Well, guess what? Utility companies have special incentives to help with the cost of getting your home properly insulated, including this once-in-a-lifetime rebate from Puget Sound Energy. So if you're a PSE customer and your home was built before 1990, you could qualify to receive a rebate on up to 95% of the cost to properly insulate your crawl space and attic. Yes, they'll cover up to 95% of the cost. Don't wait. Call them now and learn what's going on behind that crawl space and attic hatch for free, and then what energy rebates you might be eligible for. Don't take the risk. That's right. You got to check right now. Call Crawl Pros or visit crawlpros.com. That's crawlpros.com.
Are you worried about economic conditions, tariffs, and inflation? Are you tired of trying to time the stock market? Maybe it's time to take a little risk off the table given current market volatility. For stability, there's no better option than Legacy Group's Northwest Fund, a fixed return of 9%. Hi, I'm Scott Rirucka, CEO of Legacy Group Capital in Bellevue. We've been running local real estate investment funds for over 18 years with 0 investor losses, averaging double-digit returns since inception, and we also accept IRAs. Over 1,000 local investors have invested over $250 million in our Legacy family of funds. Feeling uneasy? Don't gamble your hard-earned money or risk your retirement. Legacy Group's Northwest Fund, returning 9%, has limited openings for new investors right now.
Call 425-635-4700 or visit LegacyG.com. That's LegacyG.com. This is not investment advice. Legacy investments available to accredited investors only. Details at LegacyG.com.
Warmer weather, more sunlight, and your new car. That's right. At Toyota of Kirkland and Toyota of Renton, summer starts here. With their combined inventory of new, used, and certified pre-owned inventory, you're in for a summer to remember. Their fantastic teams will set you up with a test drive so you can ride off into that summer sun the same day. Summer starts here at Toyota of Kirkland and Toyota of Renton. Whether you're in the north or the south, they got you covered. Visit their incredible showrooms today or online at toyotaofkirkland.com and toyotaofrenton.com.
O'Brien. Get 0% financing for 72 months on Cat compact construction equipment at NC Machinery. Built for performance, durability, and comfort. Buy now and take advantage of 0% financing for 72 months at NC Machinery.
What is that sound? Ugh, that sounds like a plumbing sound. Luckily, there's a company that fixes all the plumbing sounds across Puget Sound. That's All Sound Plumbing. Puget Sound's plumbing experts. Have a sound? Visit allsoundplumbing.com.
Bonneville International radio station contests are open to participants 18 years of age or older that are residents of Washington State unless otherwise specified. Employees or agents of the station, Bonneville International Corporation, other area radio stations, or any entity associated with the contests are not eligible to win unless the station otherwise specifies at its own discretion. Persons who have won in the last 60 days from a station contest or event may not be eligible. Full general contest rules are available on seattlesports.com or in person at the station during regular business hours.
Get rid of stubborn fat and address areas of loose skin with ProSculpt, the simple one-day permanent fat reduction and skin tightening treatment. Book your free consultation at prosculpt.com.
This summer, make sure your roof is ready for the season ahead with a company you can trust, like 3 Tree Roofing. We're not just your roofers, we're your neighbors, and we're here to help you protect your home this season. Visit 3treeroofing.com to schedule your free on-site estimate and get your roof replaced before the summer rush and potential material price increases. Our certified technicians make your roof replacement easy and worry-free, so you can focus on the important things this summer. Visit 3treeroofing.com to schedule your free, no-pressure estimate. 3 Tree Roofing, your Puget Sound roofing experts.
The future is here, so why is your internet stuck in the past? With Quantum Fiber Internet, you can get next-level multi-gig speed on a reliable fiber network. Fair and honest pricing with no annual contracts or bundling required. And whole home 360 Wi-Fi to make sure your devices are ready to take you where you want to go. So you can stream, post, game, surf, like, and love to your heart's content. You do you. Let Quantum Fiber Internet take care of the rest. Learn more at quantumfiber.com. Limited availability, service, and speed in select locations only.
John Curley here. Smart homeowners are upgrading heat pumps and air conditioners now before the summer heat wave with incredible rebates and discounts that'll save you up to $6,000. Home Comfort Alliance makes paying easy with 18 months, same as cash financing. Call Home Comfort Alliance today for a free quote and save up to $6,000. For your heating, cooling, plumbing, and electrical needs, visit homecomfortalliance.com today. That's homecomfortalliance.com.
Feeling lucky? Don't miss the Lucky Classic Collector Car Truck and Boat Auction, Saturday, May 31st at Tacoma's LeMay Marymount Event Center. Hundreds of cars, vintage, muscle, exotic, classics, trucks, boats, and more. Saturday, May 31st at Tacoma's LeMay Marymount Event Center. Millions of dollars in inventory, many must sell with no reserve whatsoever. Get lucky, get local, and get in line for the Northwest's greatest collector car auction. Auction details at luckyoldcar.com.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio.
This is Brock and Salk.
Weekdays 6 to 10.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
Pretty good start to answer the question jerk today, Brock. Pretty good start. There's some good stuff in there. Keep them coming. 866-979-3776. 425 says, hey, Salk, don't worry about the haters. You can do whatever you want on your last day, right? See, that's just not right. That's totally unnecessary. And how dare you?
Can I ask you a question?
Like
Can I ask you to answer the question, jerk?
Sure. Yeah.
Would you enjoy learning a football system? Do you think you would enjoy at this age and stage? Like, this is a whole new language. Like, we got our first install, right? We had our mini camp last night. It was a little more defense. Tonight is offense. And I got my first install of 42 different plays and formations to learn. Do you think you would enjoy kind of does your mind work in a way? I know you're very verbal. I know you're an excellent writer. Does your mind work in a way with, trying to, does it have enough elasticity and excitement to learn like a football system?
If I had the time to do it, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Do you think you would enjoy doing that?
I do.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would. I would need it to be kind of taught to me. I would need to have the conversation with it. Like, if you just handed me the book and were like, hey, learn this system, I feel like that would be a challenge for me. But if you were like, hey, we're going to do a series of hour-long meetings where I'm going to go over and install this whole offense to you, I think that sounds like actually an incredibly good time. In fact, I'd kind of like to do that.
Okay, well, let's do it. It'll be good for me to learn. So let's do that. Let's plan an hour a night.
Zoom call.
Yeah, it was funny because Titus was just looking at it last night. He's like, gosh, there's so many formations. I'm like, well, put them in groups, right? So, like, understand all of these T formations, trio, trips, toy, they're all telling you something, right? All 3 by 1.
Okay.
So trips and trade and toy and trio, like those are all your 3 by 1.
Does that make it harder, though? Like, I often wonder about things like just as a quarterback. Do you find that easier or harder? Like, easier because obviously, yes, T means trips or 3, or harder because, like, okay, I know it's 3, but there's like 5 different formations with 3 people, and they all sound kind of alike, and it's hard to come up with a good mnemonic device for it. Does that make it easier? I actually think it would make it harder.
I think you have to do it that way in order to organize all of the different formations that can come. It's kind of like learning a language, probably, right? And I've never taught, from day one with the alphabet and different verbs and different adverbs and different adjectives. Like, I think you do have to have that because you can just, you can just go crazy. And even for my brain, right, at this age and this stage, this is like language I've never heard before. Like, if this were West Coast, got it. Right? I could go back 20 years, but this is not West Coast. This is like Boise State and Minnesota and doing things I've never done before. So, yeah, it may be a fun little challenge. And I would think, actually, your mind and just...
It does sound fun. Honestly, that does sound fun. But learning the formations and stuff, I think that part would be hard for me, especially at this age. Like, when I was younger, it was a lot easier to memorize new things. I think as you get older, that probably gets a lot more challenging as the mind is cluttered up with a whole bunch of other useless information and things that you're trying to keep track of and open tabs on bills that need to get paid and God knows what other stuff you didn't have to deal with when you were younger. But like, yeah, it does sound like fun. I'm into it. What's your favorite play so far? Can you call one for me?
Oh, I don't know. We got Toy Right, X Knock, Cali Push. So
Say it again.
We got Toy Right, X
Toy
Knock.
Right. So that's going to be trips.
That's going to be trips, and T is off, or Y is off the ball. So you go toy because Y is now off the ball.
The
But
Y
he's still in
receiver
trips.
is off the ball?
Yep, the Y
Okay.
tight end. Y is always a tight end is off the ball, and that's going to put your flanker Z on the ball so he can run his route. Toy right, X Knock, Cali Push.
X Knock.
That's
What does that mean?
Yep, that's the split end. The X receiver is
Right.
running a little like glance route, knock route. about 10 to
Glance
12 yard
route.
post.
That's new. I haven't heard that before.
And,
then what was-
I don't know what Cali Push means. So tonight,
Cali Push.
Yeah, tonight at install, that's going to be the action at the line of scrimmage. That's that's going to be an RPO, fake zone. So Cali and push, or all things that likewise I get to learn.
There is a different. The high school football verbiage is very different from what we had in 1994, 95, 96. It was more just like dive right. Like that was basically the extent of it. And I've told you before about how my middle school. This is a classic. I love this. My middle school football team had two running backs. One guy named Dave, one guy named Andy. Dave was bigger, Andy was smaller. So in theory, Dave was the fullback and Andy was the tailback. And then Andy, it turns out, was so bad that the coach started using a formation that he called flip eye, where the tailback would play fullback and the fullback would play tailback so that he could hand the ball to the better running back without embarrassing the poor kid who had essentially lost his job as the runner. So yeah, flip eye, Brock. You have a lot of that in your coaching there? No. Not a lot of flip eye. Belichick, I think, was a big flip eye guy. And I do have a lot of sound from him. This is all from the Pivot podcast, right? And there's some pretty cool stuff in here from Belichick, just kind of football wise. Let me go through some. This is probably the one I thought was most interesting. Belichick talking about the worst spot you can be in a football game.
We all know the worst situation you can be in is long yardage. And so as long as the ball moves forward, you stay out of long yardage. And Tom did such a great job of not allowing negative plays to happen to our offense. No pre-snap penalties, no sacks. If the run didn't look good, he would check it to the other side or throw a quick look pass to one of the receivers. But he kept us out of negative plays and kept us out of long yardage. So 2nd and 10, the worst we were going to face is, 3rd and 10. But usually 2nd and 10 became 3rd and 5, and then he got a chance to pick it up. And so he didn't have the negative plays. No sacks, no turnovers, no interceptions, no strip sacks, no negative runs, no pre-snap penalties, and minimal long yardage situations. So that was number one.
One of my favorite things about Belichick, and it's not popular, not everyone can do this, but he's managed to do it incredibly well, is that he is very content avoiding the negative rather than talking about the positive. He is, and you hear a lot of people say, don't do that, right? That's a mistake, that you always want to focus on the positive, right? If you're looking on your tee shot, right, it's never don't go right, it's keep it left, right? All of that, take all of that negative talk out, focus on what you're going to do, not what you're not going to do.
Yep.
And Belichick is the exact opposite of that. He is so focused on eliminating mistakes, eliminating the negative. Don't take negative plays. Don't throw the ball, don't turn the ball over. Don't fumble. And it's such, maybe because it's such a thorough commitment to it, but it's amazing that he's been able to get guys for as long as he does to play. What do you always say? Like smart, not scared, or whatever.
Yeah.
But all the while scaring the bejesus out of them that something awful is going to happen if they do the wrong thing.
And how could you not listen to that, honestly, and not have Jordan Palmer, again, just reverberating around your brain? Put the ball in play. Keep the ball forward. Move the ball, right? Just put the ball in play. Put the ball in play. Don't go backwards. And likewise, think about how many just runs for negative yards, sacks that just derailed a holding call, right? When you think about the Seahawks offense of the last 2 or 3 years, when it stumbled and when it struggled, it was really obvious. Just negative plays. And if you can just avoid the negative plays, just keep the ball in the fairway, keep the ball going forward, you give yourself such a better opportunity. And, that will be That will be honestly a really substantial and pivotal part about this system.
Yeah.
That was not necessarily, the college system you ran last year. But this system it's paramount, because what have we heard? What have we heard with Clint over the years? Like when they struggled in Minnesota, when they struggled in New Orleans, it's when you're in third and obvious pass. That is, and even personnel wise, I think with a Cooper and what you've kind of built around, you don't want to be in those situations. And can you just move that ball forward, avoid sacks, right? Yeah, that is an enormous part of this.
He goes on a little bit deeper into that conversation with Tom Brady.
Number two, as I've told Tom many times, Tom, we can't gain any yards until you get rid of the ball, until he hands it to you or throws it to Randy or throws it to Julian. We can't gain any yards. You can't gain any yards. Give the ball to somebody else who can. And he did a great job of that, and Tom really understood how Randy could be productive, how Kevin Falk could be productive, how James White could be productive, how Rob could be productive.
It's pretty cool. I mean, it's an interesting way of looking at it. Obviously, if he had Lamar Jackson, he would be talking about that differently. But for a guy like Tom Brady, I mean, he's right. There's no yards to be gained until you get rid of the ball. And if you go back to the early years of Tom Brady, it's funny. People don't. The one play that they seem to run in those early years more than any other, and I don't ever recall it being a thing before them, were those wide receiver screens where you just immediately throw it to the wide receiver, it just takes a step back, and then they would gain like 6, 7, 8 yards. It was almost like an extension of the running game. Totally safe, throw a quick out. I don't really remember. Do you remember teams doing much of that before the Patriots did?
That's a good question.
And Tom would get grief for it. They'd be like, oh, Tom Brady's not that great because all he does is throw this pass, 2 yards behind the line of scrimmage, and then he gets credit for 7 yards. But he was really good at it. He did it quickly, he did it accurately, he did a good strong throw to the sideline. And David Givens, David Patton, like these guys would get like 7, 8 yards all the time off of it.
Yeah, I think thinking back to that, Salk, it wasn't a lot of this RPO stuff that you see today, and it's not even like the bubble screens. It wasn't jailbreak screen. It was here's a run play, but if they're going to load the box and they're going to give you space, just get it out of your hand in a hurry and put it in those guys' hands.
Right.
Yeah, and I think playing again, just flashing back to 20-something years ago, playing against them a few times, that was definitely something they did, and then you saw it grow, and then you saw it continue to matriculate, and obviously the college game has become so much about that, just speed and space. And
you might have actually been there for it. This is a quick memory. Maybe you remember this, maybe not. They ran that play so many times over the course of the year, and I want to say it was against Indy in that, was it an NFC or AFC championship game rather? They faked it, and then I want to say it was David Givens, I could be wrong, went backdoor essentially.
Yeah.
And like after a full year of running this quick throw, they faked it. Cornerback eventually bid on it, and they had an easy touchdown.
I think I was there.
Were you? I feel like you might have been. So I don't know, just sort of a quick memory. When you think about the Seahawks system and what that will look like, same deal. Like nothing starts until Sam Darnold gets the ball out of his hands.
Yes, and I think Sam even said that to us when we chatted with him, in the first interview here. It's like, hey, where are things you need to continue to grow? How did last year happen? He just learned that, yeah, man, it's not me like being a game changer. It was watching Peyton for me. I just facilitate and get the ball out to everybody and avoid those sacks. That will be such a big part of it. And when it got a little derailed, and in that playoff game, as he said, what happened? Held the ball too much, took a bunch of sacks, all these negative plays, and it just comes back to bite you.
360 says Belichick. Funny, that's almost as funny as Harbarf. Belichick did a ton of risk avoidance in his play calling and design. He also had the best decision maker in league history at quarterback. I wonder if that let players play freely, even though the negative was there. Essentially, he put players in a position to succeed, even if in his mind it was mostly about not making negative plays.
Yeah. And that marriage with Tom was
pretty good,
pretty darn magical,
pretty effective. For
outside
both
of Tom, not quite as effective.
Not so much. Got to have the right quarterback to make that all work.
Oh, really quick. There's just some news about today's Mariners game.
Yeah.
Casey Legamina expected to be the opener tonight. Casey Lawrence expected to get the bulk of the work. So that's from Bob Condotta.
All right. Well, assuming the weather holds off, that's what we'll expect tonight. We can ask Mike McDonald about some of that positive, negative thinking tomorrow when we chat with him at 9:30. So right about this time tomorrow, we will be talking to the coach, Mike McDonald. Right now, we'll answer some silly questions.
This is Brock and Salk's Answer the Question, Jerk.
Keep asking questions. Come on, I'll answer them. Come on, I'm here. I'm going to answer your questions, dang it.
Answer my question! The question, jerk! Well, don't just stand there. Answer the question, jerk!
All right, a lot came in today, Brock. A lot of questions today. Let's start here. Let's start with a real football question. Which position group do you think the Seahawks still need to improve most, and or what would you like them to add?
Yeah, I think corner, the most vulnerable.
I'm going to still say interior offensive line. Corner's there. Linebacker's probably there, but I'm going to still say interior of the offensive line. You really only added one guy that you expect to start. You probably needed 2 or 3.
If Spoon is playing nickel and Tyreek Woolen gets banged up, who are your 2 corners? Josh Drobe and Nehemiah Pritchett?
Well, yeah. All right. But if the season starts today, who is your starting center and right guard? Not a great situation there either. So let's see. How about this one? What is the best breakfast place around? Beth's, Vula's, Little Cheerful, Glow's. I'm embarrassed to say I've lived in Green Lake now for 10 years and I've never been to Beth's. I got to remedy that. It's sad. It's like right by my house.
Mornings.
I know, but I could go on a weekend and get one of their giant omelets. I should do that.
13 coins.
13 coins is probably my favorite. I love that Joe special.
Yeah.
Or the Ukrainian Joe. I think that's the one I like with a little sour cream on there.
Are we not counting Salties?
Salties on Alki? Tremendous. I mean, obviously that's a spendy.
Yeah.
That's a spendy deal.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, unbelievable. Tremendous breakfast. You know,
I'd think of more Kirkland places, like George's in Kirkland is really popular, which I like.
Kind of on the water down there?
Yeah, it's pretty close.
That sounds nice.
ALT, are you a breakfast guy? You a big brunch breakfast guy?
A lot of protein in breakfast.
Yeah, no, I like breakfast.
You like what's like if you go to a nice breakfast brunch place, what are you eating? Egg whites and nothing nothing? What are you eating?
Let's just move on.
No, what are you eating? What are you getting at a big breakfast place?
I mean, I do usually order egg whites over eggs, yeah. But I'll order other stuff with it.
Will you have like Eggs Benedict?
No, it's usually like an omelet and then you'll get like...
Do you know how many calories are in hollandaise?
A lot. I know, so it tastes good. I like a good Eggs Benny.
I don't know, and like... At
like,
George's
answer the question.
You like hash browns?
Well, yeah, at George's in Kirkland, which again I said I really
That's your
like.
spot. Okay.
There's they call it the lumberjack plate. You get like eggs and then bacon or sausage and then French toast. So I'll get that.
Okay. You put maple syrup on the French toast?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
253 says, I'm surprised Lyle has heard of breakfast.
Lyle, can I ask you a personal question?
Do I have a choice? It doesn't sound like it.
Not really.
Did you used to be a fat kid?
No.
It is surprising, right?
Yeah, because like
I've
Titus.
asked that too because I thought that's why he's so strict.
Yeah.
Titus, looking at pictures, like he used to be a chubby bunny. It was great. I was make him a defensive end, please, Lord. Yes.
That was just his huge head when he was little.
No, he was big, chunky, like big ankles. Like it's hilarious.
Lyle just has self-discipline.
No, it does. It is surprising, Brock. I'm with you. Lyle definitely gives off used to be fat energy.
This show today. Oh my gosh.
There's a lot of Lyle questions. Do you want some of the Lyle questions that came in today? Let's see. Is Lyle doing homework anymore? Movies, music? It seems like forever since he gave a report.
That's on you guys.
All right. Well, then, Lyle, do you have the bandwidth to watch a movie between now and Monday? Or is that a legitimate question? Do you have the bandwidth to do that, or is that too hard?
Well, we're off on Monday. He's not.
Oh, that stinks. That's true. Because I thought that maybe it would fit with this. Because a second question came in. Jerks, rate these Vince Vaughn performances. Swingers, Dodgeball, Wedding Crashers, Old School. It's a tough one.
3 of those 4 I have seen.
Which one haven't you seen? Swingers?
Yeah.
Okay. I don't think you'd like it.
No.
If I have to rank those, by the way, I'm going Wedding Crashers, Swingers, Old School Dodgeball.
Yeah.
Old School and Swingers kind of could go either way. But Wedding Crashers would be number 1.
Oh, if you haven't seen Old School, that's one of my favorite movies.
No, he said he'd seen that one, right?
Yeah.
Swingers.
Yeah.
It's just Swingers I haven't seen. I don't know. I like Dodgeball a lot.
I don't think Swingers will work for you, so I'm not going to throw that one on the list. Jerks, it was my birthday yesterday, and I had to make my own birthday cake. We have a 3-month-old, and my wife was just, quote, not able to get to it during the day. Should I say something or just move on and eat my delicious cake in peace?
Just move on.
Yeah.
Just move on.
Why don't they
Let
just
that
buy
go.
one?
Yep. Just move on.
Maybe like me, he used to like the chocolate eruption cake at Whole Foods, only to find that they'd changed their recipe. Did I tell you I asked about it?
No.
Oh, the last time I was at Whole Foods, I went into the bakery and was like, hey, can I ask you guys a question? Like, did you guys change the recipe on the chocolate eruption cake? And the guy was like, yeah, corporate standardized it. And I was like, is there any way to get the old one? He said, no, we don't do special orders. I said, whoa, all right, whoa, I'm sorry.
Salk was like, I'm kind of an influencer. I'm not sure.
Nope, I didn't say
have
that.
you heard of the double Mitchwich?
But Heather says that there is a similar looking cake at Met Market. So I'm going to go check that out and see. Cecily's birthday is Friday, so we're going to go check that
I thought of you
out.
yesterday because I saw a Wendy's commercial, and they were talking about how they can put things in their Frosties now, kind of like a Blizzard.
Oh.
And they had pieces of Pop-Tart in one.
Oh, interesting. I don't know if that's good or gross. That could go either way. I mean, I'd probably try it. Probably at least try it. Jerks, at what age, or is there an age, at which point you can stop feeling obligated to try to make friends with your kids' friends' parents? I think that's a good question.
Ooh, that is a good question.
What do you think? I mean, your kids are now essentially grown.
Sure.
At what age do you stop having to try to make friends with their parents?
I mean, do you have to always? I don't think I've ever felt obligated to have to make friends.
I mean, when they're
with their
little, you
parents.
do. Like preschool, elementary school, you've got to be sort of friendly. That's part of the gig.
You got to be present.
No, you got to be friendly because you're going to birthday parties and you're picking them up and driving them around.
Brock, are you telling us you show up to pick up your kids and you're like, no autographs, please?
Dark tinted windows so nobody can see.
Like that. Did you see the grainy video of Peyton getting in coach?
No.
To sit in coach class. Oh yeah.
What?
Yeah, video, and he was like sneaking on late. He's like the last one on.
Not like Coach Carroll.
Yeah.
Pete loves it. Loves Coach. So I don't know. I would say probably middle school is my guess.
Yeah, I think once they become teenagers.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably.
It's helpful though to still at least have some relationships because you can at least get the kids to. I have found though that whatever. I won't get into it. I'm not going to dig into that. That's a whole thing. I don't want to go there. Sorry.
Don't do it. Good filter.
Jerks. I love hearing about Salk's golf journey that he's been on the last year or two. I mean, it's been longer than that, but thank you. I do have a question, though. When I look up on the Gin app, I see people like Bumpus and some other local celebrities who have a handicap posted there. Salk, are you posting your scores to get a handicap, or are you using some weird pseudonym so no one knows what your scores are? Local celebrities makes me laugh. I don't post my scores. I don't keep a handicap. In order to keep a handicap, you really got to play strict rules of golf, and that's not that fun.
That's not Salk.
No. Not here for that.
That's not Salk.
But I'm not going to pretend that it is. Huh?
Does that mean you cheat?
Well, just no, it's not cheating. It's just, occasional mulligan or two. Like, you can't do that, and you can't take a breakfast ball and then say that it goes towards your gin handicap. Like, that's just not right. So
I don't know what any of that means.
exactly. Don't worry about it more. Don't worry about it.
What's out of bounds?
Lyle, do you think you can watch a movie at some point?
Between now and Tuesday.
I can try.
No, I don't want it. No, that's too much.
He's got
No,
wife,
it sounds like
kids,
you
he's
got too
a
much
lot
going
of-
on.
Oh, no, he doesn't.
No, he's got too much going on. I don't want to get into that. That's not fair.
Are you going to go down to see Mike, or is Mike going to be on video? What are we going to do tomorrow?
I don't know yet. I gotta find out. But we do have Mike McDonald tomorrow at 9:30. We're looking forward to that. I will find out whether he'll be on video, if I'm going to go down there and see him. We'll get all the details, Brock. Don't worry. We'll get it all figured out. Until tomorrow morning at 6 a.m., stick around for Bump and Stacy and the Hey.
Toy Right X Not Cali Push Barn.
Wow. See you, everybody.
Get to the chopper!
Bump and Stacy.
Jason Churchill joining us now. Might we be staring at a potential gap where you're still waiting on production from your pitchers and the offense has come back down to earth?
If I would have told you after about 40 games that the Mariners are going to be in first place, George Kirby will have not pitched, and the thing that's led them to this record would be the lineup, the offense, the run scoring, I think every single fan would have been like, okay, yeah, I'll take that.
Bump and Stacy. Weekdays 10 to 2 on Seattle Sports, the app, YouTube, and your smart speaker.
Hey, it's Mike Rohn. If I have a choice, I like to do business with companies that actually stand for something. That's why I switched from Verizon to Pure Talk. No offense to Verizon, I'm sure they stand for something. I just don't know what it is. Pure Talk, on the other hand, is a veteran-owned company that supports our military in a big way, and I appreciate that. Yeah, I also appreciate unlimited talk and text and plenty of data for half the cost of the big guys, and I do like being on America's most dependable 5G network for just $20 a month, but what I really appreciate is no contract, no cancellation fees, and Pure Talk's commitment to handle all their customer service in this country. I saw it for myself. I went to Georgia, I got a tour of their headquarters, I met their CEO, and I talked to the same customer service folks that you'll talk to when you dial pound 250 and say keyword Mike Rowe. Switch today and save 50% off your first month when you dial pound 250 and say keyword Mike Rowe. Pure Talk. A wireless company that actually stands for something.
At O'Neill Plumbing, we've been exclusively plumbers for over 100 years. No corny mascots, no out-of-town owners. Just clean, fast, and professional plumbers out to your home fast. All rooter and all trenchless. O'Neill Plumbing.
At Cressy Door, we have the perfect garage door for you. Come visit our brand new garage door and fireplace showroom and let our experts help you find the perfect garage door. Cressy Door.
Business leaders know to solve a problem, you gotta look at it in a new way. Like travel between Seattle and Portland. Why is it such a pain? I-5 traffic, TSA slowdowns, SeaTac hassles. Seaport removes those pain points. We fly out of Boeing Field and a private terminal at PDX. You park for free, steps away from your plane. And with flights every 45 minutes, you're always home for dinner. Problem solved. Seaport Airlines. It's about time.
When you have really good leaders, it makes it easy.
Gia arrived at Lee Johnson after 10 years at another dealership.
You know your job, but then you have people who you can rely on to help you with the big stuff that you need that support from. And I've gotten that every day with my service manager, with our assistant service manager, with even like our GM and our GSM. The way that, we're now on the showroom together, we are so close-knit just as a department. My service manager here, he's always open to teach you whatever you want to know. He just wants everybody to do good around him, and if somebody wants to learn something, I'm here to do it. And I've never had a service manager like that before. They're really good at promoting from within. That's one thing that I've learned from working here. I see people start out as a lot porter, and people work their way all the way up to being a general manager.
The LJ way is the Lee Johnson Auto family.
Hey, Brock Ewart here for my friends over at Xfinity. Change is always happening. It's part of life. And when it comes to music, we know that change is all around us. Songs are rewritten and remade. Classics are remixed. Bands and artists, well, they come and go. Even our taste in music, as we get older, can change a bit. But no matter how things change in 5 years, there's one thing that will stay the same. And that is the price of your internet. That's right. Xfinity is introducing a